Chapter 61. Lin Wani found out from the guard that the unfilial son came out not long after entering the library. This made him so angry that his liver hurt. She purposely let him encounter 3 cultivation techniques. Did they really not see it? If he didn't even bring out his cultivation technique, how was he supposed to cultivate? The anticipation from before completely turned into despair. He was still thinking too much. This unfilial son was still the same. He was even too lazy to look for his unfilial son. Looks like I can only go find this unfilial son at night and have a good talk. I'll let him know that when he makes his father angry, his days will be miserable. In the backyard, Lin Fan had experimented with the point cleansing cultivation method and had gained some insights. It was very powerful, and he could slowly study in the future. Go Z, go buy some tonics for me. Lin Fan instructed. Go Z replied, but he didn't expect anyone to fall sick. What was young master trying to do? Young master, what do you need for these tonics? Lin Fan thought for a moment. Some people say that carrots are like ginseng and eating more is good for the body. Then, buy some carrots and some red amaranth. After stir-frying, the color will be red, and it should be good for the blood. Just buy these 2. Make the gift boxes look good. I'm going to see someone later. What was Liang Yongji like? Truthfully, this person was not bad. Although he was a little arrogant during this period of time, he had provided him with many rage points. As long as one had a bit of conscience, one should go and visit them. Go Z was totally stunned. What did the young master want to do? If he was going to visit someone, he shouldn't have brought along some precious things. For example, there was 100-year-old ginseng in the mansion, as well as many expensive medicinal herbs. As for the radish and red amaranth, they were basically vegetables. If he really sent it over, wouldn't he infuriate the other party? However, this was the young master's order, so he could only follow it. As for what would happen in the end, that was a matter for the future. For now, there was no need to think so far ahead. Not long after, the young master prepared all the tonics. The gift boxes were all carefully prepared and looked grand. One look and one knew that they were good stuff. Let's go. After staying at home for a day and a half, the joy of life was too low. Only by walking outside and breathing in the fresh air could he feel that he was still alive. At the entrance of the Liang residence, Go Z was stunned. He thought about many things, but he really didn't expect young master to come here. When the 2 guards guarding the Liang manor realized that young Master Lin had arrived, they were actually a little flustered. Their 3rd young master had been a little miserable recently. There were people secretly spreading rumors that the 3rd young master became so miserable because of the Lin family's young master. This was a dangerous person. He was an expert. He couldn't afford to provoke him, otherwise he would be in trouble. Please inform them that I am here to visit 3rd brother Liang. Lin Fan said. He then pointed at the tonic. Don't worry, I brought it. The 2 guards looked at Lin Fan strangely. There was only one thought in his mind. Like hell, I'll believe you. You're a very bad person. However, they still went to report immediately. Their statuses were not equal, and to put it bluntly, they were just guards. How could they speak arrogantly to the Lin family young master? They wouldn't even know how they died. Very soon, the guard followed old Master Liang out. When old Master Liang learned that the Lin family young master came to visit, he was a little stunned. Did the sun rise from the west? This kid actually wanted to visit his 3rd son? What was he trying to do? Dear nephew, how come you have a time to visit me? Old Master Liang had a smile on his face. Don't underestimate this smile. This smile was filled with a mother's scolding tone. It was as if he was saying, You brat, haven't you harmed my 3rd son enough? You still have the face to come over? Old Master Liang, what are you saying? I saw that 3rd brother Liang was bedridden for many days, so I was worried. I especially brought some tonic over to ask about him. In the past, 3rd brother Liang and I had some conflicts, but it is better to solve them than keep them alive, so I came to take a look. Lin Fan's expression was really sincere, like he was telling the truth. Old Master Liang looked at Lin Fan with a weird expression. Did the sun really rise from the west? It seems like you have grown up. Why are you still standing there? Come in. Old Master Liang smiled. You city's 3 aristocratic families. On the surface, their relationship was really good. When they met, it was either Brother Lin or Brother Yuan. But behind their backs, they called him Old Dog. There wouldn't be any open conflicts. At most, they would fight in the dark, pat there, but it's like they were brothers. Just like that, their relationship lasted for a long time. Lin Fan smiled as he stepped into the Liang Manor and walked towards Liang Yongqi's room. Old Master Liang, you don't need to send me off. I will just take a look at third brother Liang. After I finish, I will leave. Without waiting for old Master Liang to say anything, Lin Fan walked into the distance. Old Master Liang took a look and didn't say anything. This was the Liang family, and this kid wouldn't dare to do anything, so he could be at ease. Courtyard. Lin Fan stood at the door and heard a soft moan from within. The voice was filled with pain. Dong dong. He knocked on the door. Come in. Liang Yongqi said weakly. The injuries on his body hadn't healed yet. His father was too vicious, and his bones were about to break. Lin Fan pushed the door and entered. Brother Liang, I am here to see you. Liang Yongqi laid on the bed and held a book. He used the knowledge in the book as strength to fight against the pain on his body. However, when he heard that voice, his hand shook. Then, he suddenly raised his voice. Why did you come? He was really furious. The person he didn't want to see the most was this fellow. Rage points plus 88. Maybe because of the injuries on his body, it affected his rage points, which dropped from over 100 to 2 digits. Brother Liang, don't be agitated. Let's talk things out. We don't have such a huge conflict between us. Look, I brought nourishment to see you. Lin Fan patted the things in his hands and said. Liang Yongqi wanted to hide the book in his hands under his blanket, but Lin Fan saw it. How elegant. This young married woman's precious has a lot of literary content. Brother Liang is indeed a cultured person. Rage points plus 111. It finally broke 100. Liang Yongqi kept the book and said coldly, Stop crying fake kindness. Stop acting in front of me. Surnamed Lin, let me tell you that this is the Liang family. If you dare to do anything to me, you won't be able to walk out of here. To be honest, before he was bullied by Lin Fan, Liang Yongqi was also a handsome young master. He held a fan and was suave. Normal girls probably couldn't resist his charm. But what a waste. Lin Fan messed with his mentality, and he revealed a fierce look on his face. That unique aura of a noble young master was totally gone. Lin Fan pulled a chair over and sat down. Don't be nervous. Don't misunderstand. I really came to see you. What happened that day is still fresh in my mind. You were beaten up so badly, it hurts my heart. To Liang Yongqi, Lin Fan did it on purpose. He wanted to forget about it, but this fellow brought it up again. He was purposely infuriating him. Rage points plus 123. Liang Yongqi hollered, Can you leave? I am begging you. Every time I see you, I can't calm down. Please leave. The Liang family doesn't welcome you. To him, the person who made him the most angry. That person was definitely Lin Fan. In the past, he didn't have such a feeling. But since he was conned so many times, he had such a feeling. Scum. He was a living scum. He knew better than anyone else that everything that had happened was definitely that bastard's doing, but no one believed him. Who could he find a reason with? Brother Liang, don't be like this. I really came to see you. We will live in your city in the future, and we will meet all the time, so why do this? Lin Fan smiled and said, Not bad. He didn't have much rage points, but he had a few hundred more. Liang Yongqi hated Lin Fan, and he wouldn't believe a single word of bullsh asterisk T. Only someone who was hurt before could understand that feeling. Don't say all this to me. I won't believe a single word you say. Leave right now. I don't welcome you here. As he was too emotional, the wounds on his body opened up once more. It was so painful that he gritted his teeth and sucked in a deep, cold breath. Okay, since that is the case, then I will leave first. Once your injuries are healed, I will arrange a table for you to celebrate. Lin Fan got up and placed the tonic at the side. Brother Liang, I won't send you off. Goodbye. He then left. The room was silent, and only Liang Yongqi's heavy and furious breathing could be heard. He looked at the gift box at the side. He wanted to toss it away, but curiosity made him take a look. He opened the box. There was no sound. Suddenly, an enraged roar erupted. Lin Fan, damn. Rage points plus 666. Liang Yongqi was furious and smashed everything. Lin Fan came to his house to give all these to him. He was just toying with him. Actually, Lin Fan felt wronged. He was sincere. He just wanted to nourish his body. So why didn't he accept his good intentions? Chapter 62. On the way back, Gozi didn't understand why young master wanted to see Liang Yongqi. Didn't the two of them have conflicts? He didn't understand. Maybe this was how aristocratic families interacted. Brother Lin, please wait. At that moment, Liang Yichu walked over. Beside him was a person. It was Yu City Liang family's top detective, Zhu Xiang. He also came from a large city outside. Lin Fan smiled. So, it is Brother Liang, what is the matter? Liang Yongqi's big brother was really something. His attitude was terrifyingly good, and he was a decent person. Nothing much. I just saw Brother Lin come up to chat. Is there anything wrong? If not, why not head to Drunk Fragrance Pavilion for a drink? Liang Yichu smiled and then added, my treat. Okay, Lin Fan replied. Anyway, he had nothing to do every day. Someone was treating him to a meal, and he didn't need to spend money. Drunk Fragrance Pavilion. The manager arranged for the two young masters and was a little confused. It was really weird. Why did the Liang family young master have such a good relationship with young Master Lin? Didn't he hear that third young master and young Master Lin had a bad relationship? Not only did he not take revenge for his brother, but he even drank with his enemy. He really didn't understand. He really didn't. Lin Fan and Liang Yichu bragged and chatted happily. At the dining table, Zhu Xiang would stare at Lin Fan from time to time. He slowly moved up from his feet like he was searching for something. He was good at noticing any clues. Especially in the field of psychology, he had quite a high level of attainment. When the Liang family granary was robbed, he didn't suspect Lin Fan. But based on the situation, he realized that this matter was related to young Master Lin. Other people might not believe what third young master said, but he heard it in his heart and analyzed it. It was indeed possible. Or rather, third young master didn't lie, and what he said was true. Brother, since we met, you have been observing me. Is there something wrong with me? It is okay, just say it. I am willing to accept bad opinions. Lin Fan asked. The gaze of the person beside Liang Yichu was too weird, and it terrified him. If not for him looking normal, he would have suspected whether or not he wanted to play with his butt. Zhu Xiang smiled. Young Master Lin, you misunderstood. I just felt that you looked extraordinary and took a few more looks. Hey, Lin Fan's interest was piqued. So you also know how to read faces. Not bad, not bad. When I was young, an old master told me that my face has a full forehead, a square earth, and a towering nose. My nose is round and doesn't show any nostrils. It's also called the dragon's nose. The people with dragon noses are all intelligent, talented, and extremely wealthy. That old master is really accurate. Look at my current situation. It's a perfect match. Zhu Xiang's smile froze. What was he saying? It was just a passing sentence, and he actually pulled out such things. Third young Master Liang's defeat was not unjust. Liang Yichu smiled. Brother Lin, what do you think of mine? Lin Fan pondered for a moment. Not bad. Although your nose isn't that of a dragon's, it's still the king of noses. It's commonly known as the hanging gallbladder nose. With this nose, you're destined to enjoy glory and wealth. When you're in the prime of your life, opportunities will come. Brother Liang, you have to grasp them well. Haha. Liang Yichu smiled. Although he knew that Brother Lin was bragging about one another could improve their relationship. Just like what he said, he applauded the things that Brother Lin did. Farming taxes, giving out grain, those weren't things that normal people could do. If one didn't have some courage, one wouldn't dare to do so. Zhu Xiang shook his head and didn't say a word. The young masters of the three aristocratic families of Yu City were much friendlier than those aristocratic families outside. He came from those big city aristocratic families to a secluded place like Yu City not because he wasn't talented enough, but because those places were too dangerous. The competition was too intense. If blood didn't form a river every day, one wouldn't be able to talk about the competition between the aristocratic families. When he slept at night, he would be having a good sleep, but suddenly there would be blades flashing and he would nearly lose his life. What Zhu Xiang couldn't take was relaxing under such high pressure. When he reached the peak with a beautiful girl, when billions of soldiers charged into the enemy's fortress, he wanted to reach the peak with the enemy. However, the enemy was really calm, raising his hand and striking him with a cold glow. He was scared out of his wits. From then on, he didn't have those ambitions anymore. He just wanted to leave this dangerous place and find a safe place to spend his time. At this moment, Zhu Xiang's expression was a little sunken. He woke up from his memories and noticed that young Master Lin was staring at him. His gaze was a little off. "You are a man with a story." Lin Fan drank a mouthful of wine and said leisurely. The expression on the other party's face as he recalled the past was the same as his own. Only men with stories could understand each other. Zhu Xiang smiled awkwardly. Story? He was definitely a man with a story. If one hadn't experienced it, one wouldn't understand. Normal people really couldn't handle those days. Not only did the battles between aristocratic families see blood, but they also claimed lives. To him, the battle between the three aristocratic families was just a small matter, adding some fun to life. Take the granary matter, for example. If it happened beside those aristocratic families, not only would the guards in charge of the granary die, but even their entire families would be buried. How would it be like this? They would just be crippled, and they would still be alive. Zhu Xiang smiled. Suddenly, a gray light flashed across the sky, and his expression changed. Young Master Lin, it is best if you don't head out. These words made everyone confused. Why? Lin Fan asked. He was confused. He didn't understand what Lin Fan was saying. At this moment, Zhu Xiang found it weird. As the Lin Manor young master, how would Lin Fan not know about such things? When he was prepared to say something, the streets outside became a little noisy. The sound of horse hooves spread out. Lin Fan looked out and saw that his cousin had returned. He laid on the railing and waved his hands. Cousin, Zhou Zhongmao returned from wiping out the pirates. At the same time, he wiped out all their riches, filling up 4 large boxes. There were many treasures and also things that he specially brought back for his cousin. After doing all this, he rushed through the night without stopping to rush back to Yu City. Cousin. Zhou Zhongmao saw his cousin upstairs and raised his hand to stop them. He landed on the ground and ordered his men to send the things back to the Lin Manor before entering Drunk Fragrance Pavilion. Cousin, you went out for so long and made me miss you. How was it? Did you face any danger? Lin Fan asked. Zhou Zhongmao smiled. No, I was fine. The main thing is that the journey was a little long. Otherwise, I would have returned long ago. Zhu Xiang smelled a thick blood scent. He knew. The person in front of him killed many people. The scent gathered and didn't dissipate. Normal people wouldn't be able to smell it. This was a vicious person. P.S. I wore pants to the toilet this morning and caught a cold. Mucus flowed out of my nose, and it was a little uncomfortable. All right, I nearly forgot. Ask for recommendations and tips. Brothers and sisters, please give me some. Chapter 63. With cousin back, Lin Fan felt much more confident. With a super helper here, he didn't need to be afraid if he faced trouble. However, that assassin was still a problem. Even cousin wasn't his match. In the end, he still had to rely on himself. Or rather, he relied on the small support system. Lin Fan and Liang Yichu didn't have any actual topics to talk about. They were just bragging and talking about things that didn't matter. He noticed that Liang Yichu's complexion was good, much different from the first time they met. His face was much redder. This meant that Liang Yichu's life in the Liang family was getting better and better, and he might inherit the position of the Liang family head. After eating and drinking, time passed really quickly. Brother Liang, let's stop here. If there is a chance, let's meet up again. Lin Fan got up and cupped his fists. What he meant was that this bragging session had ended. Liang Yichu smiled. Okay, Brother Lin, have a safe trip. In a restaurant. Mr. Zhu, young Master Lin is a good person, right? Liang Yichu asked. Zhu Xiang blinked. How was he supposed to reply to that? Not bad. Everything was fake on the surface, but the truth was so terrifying. Lin Manor. When Lin Wani learned that Zhong Mao was back, his expression changed. How did he return so quickly? Although the bandits on the side of Wei River weren't much, they were really cunning. He knew that with Zhou Mao's strength, it wasn't a problem to wipe them out. But this was just too quick. What happened? He came back half the expected time. Old Master, don't think about it. We underestimated Zhou Mao. Old Wu saw that Old Master was troubled and consoled him. Zhou Mao was too strong and exceeded everyone's expectations. Or maybe the bandits were too stupid and careless to fight Zhou Mao head-on, causing them all to be wiped out. Lin Wani shook his head. He thought too simply he underestimated Zhou Mao. Zhou Mao's cultivation had reached the peak of grade 8, and in a short while, he would be able to reach grade 9. Such a cultivation speed was that of a genius, a true genius. The reason why he had spent so much effort in teaching for the past 10 years was to nurture a true expert for the Lin family. In the future, that unfilial kid would have a better life. Dad, I am back. After Lin Fan returned, he saw his dad and old Wu chatting by the pond in the courtyard. Uncle, fortunately, we did not disappoint you. The Wei River bandits have all been annihilated. Zhou Mao reported. The Wei River bandits were too weak. Only the leader had some ability, but the difference was too great. Very good. Thank you for your hard work. Lin Wani nodded his head in satisfaction. Zhou Mao was not bad. It was just that the time he took to come back was too *king fast. It was different from what he had imagined. Why didn't he stay a little longer? Uncle, I've also brought back the bandits' wealth. There are 4 large boxes. I didn't expect a mere gang of bandits to have so much wealth. It seems like they rob a lot of ship merchants. Zhou Mao said. The Wei River was an important waterway, and many merchant ships passed by. Some merchant ships could not afford to hire experts to guard them, so they could only be robbed by the river bandits. As for the merchant ships that had experts overseeing them, the river bandits would retreat after probing them and realizing that they were no match for them. The Wei River near Yu City was controlled by both the Yuan and Liang families. However, as there were no benefits, it didn't bother and allowed the bandits to do as they pleased. Father, I will bring cousin back to rest. Lin Fan said. His small support system was a little problematic. He had to take the initiative to attack. If he didn't, he wouldn't get any rage points. During this period of time, he was really low profile. Cousin wasn't at home, so he didn't go out. Now that cousin was back, who did he have to be afraid of? Lin Wani opened his mouth. Don't go out during this period of time. Why? Lin Fan was stunned. Father, it didn't cause any trouble recently. I even went to the Liang family to visit 3rd Liang. We have already reconciled. Rage points plus 66. I told you not to go out, so don't go out. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Lin Wani hollered in rage. Okay, you're the father, and I am the son. I will listen to you. Lin Fan didn't want to say more. He was starting to restrict his freedom. That was just too terrifying. Of course, he was just casually saying that. To want to restrict his freedom. That was impossible. If he didn't have freedom, he would rather die. Then, he brought his cousin toward the backyard. Brother Wu, follow him during this period of time. Lin Wani said solemnly. As a father, how would he not know what was going on with this unfilial kid? He was just saying it. He would probably head out tomorrow. Yes, old master. Old Wu replied. That night, the night was really dark. Today, the Wang family village was really busy. Someone was getting married, and the villagers were all mobilized to hold a simple wedding banquet. The wedding banquet ended. Wang Dai wobbled as he walked back home. As he walked, he hummed a tune. Why is this woman sleeping so early today? He was a little curious, but he didn't care much about it. Everyone in the village went to the wedding banquet. The women all came back after eating. Only the men drank wine until they were satisfied. He stood in front of his house, and the cold wind blew. With a creak, he pushed open the wooden door. The room was pitch black, and the candles weren't lit at all. Wang Dai shook his head and muttered, You are just too much. I haven't even returned, and you extinguished the candles. It was really dark. He walked to the side of the bed, and the woman was sleeping on her side. Woman, are you asleep? Wang Dai asked softly. There was no reaction. Wang Dai had some thoughts. He reached his hand into the blanket and touched the woman's waist. Instantly, he retracted his hand. It was so cold, like he had touched an ice cube. Woman, why is your body so cold? Did you catch a cold when you showered? Wang Day got up and wanted to flip her over to see what was going on. If she was sick, then he had to treat her. Well, he saw her face. Everything was in darkness. Morning. Ah! A terrified scream broke the silence of the Wang family village. Many villagers rushed over. Day and his wife were dead. A middle-aged man sat on the ground in terror. He pointed into the room. Lin Manor. Lin Fan just woke up. A new day had begun. What was he going to do today? He didn't have any ideas. His relationship with Liang Yongqi was slowly calming down. Yesterday, he even gave him tonics, so it wasn't good for him to hit on him today. Young master, something happened in the Wang family village. Someone died. Go Zi carried a washing basin and walked in. Lin Fan was curious. Someone died. He had been here for a period of time and hadn't seen anyone die. To him, this death was a huge matter. As someone died, I don't know why, but a total of 2 people died. It was a couple, and they were discovered this morning. I heard that they died in a tragic manner. Some people in the city said that it was done by a demon. Go Zi said the gossip that he heard. Lin Fan washed his face and became more and more curious. They died in a tragic manner? How tragic was that? As for it being related to a demon, that was a little unbelievable. But he couldn't guarantee that there wasn't such a thing. Let's go call my cousin. We will head to the Wang family village. No matter what, the Wang family village belongs to our Lin family. Lin Fan said. Logically speaking, that was indeed the case. P.S. Those who have recommendation votes, please vote for them. Thank you. Chapter 64. Wang Village. The villagers did not dare to enter as it was too terrifying. It was as if there were demons inside, and they were afraid of being targeted by them. Village chief, what should we do? A villager asked. Wang Laosan was extremely anxious. How could there be a murder case in the peaceful Wang family village? As for what to do now, he had no idea. Some villagers whispered to each other. They thought that this was the revenge of the Yuan or Liang family. If it wasn't for these 2 families, who else would have enmity with the Wang family village? But just as he had this thought, the village chief glared at him. He could only think about it in his heart. If someone with ulterior motives heard it, he was afraid that it would cause trouble. Young Master Lin is here. Suddenly, a villager shouted. To the 3 villages, the Lin family young master's name was really famous. They were able to get through this because young Master Lin helped them and gave them hope. If not, they really didn't know what to do. Sir Lin. The villagers consciously made way for him and greeted him respectfully. The aristocratic families were all very evil, but to them, they didn't think much of it. There would always be someone special, and that special person was young Master Lin. Yes, Lin Fan nodded his head. He was very calm. He was famous and respected. This was expected. He enjoyed this feeling. Zhou Zhongmao stood beside his cousin and looked around warily. Even if these commoners didn't have strength, he wouldn't be careless. As long as his cousin was here, even if there was no one around, he had to be wary. Go Zi followed behind, with a smile on his face. Seeing that his young master was so liked by the villagers, he was also proud. Young Master Lin. The village chief walked over. Chief, who is the one who died? Lin Fan asked. For a peaceful village, the death of someone was a big deal, especially if the death was strange and mysterious. Young master, the deceased are Wang Day and his wife from our village. The person who found them was a villager from our village. In the morning, he came to ask Wang Day to go to the fields together. He knocked on the door for a long time, but no one answered. Then, the door opened automatically, and the couple was found dead in their own bed. The village chief told him what he knew. He didn't expect that young Master Lin would actually come to the Wang family village to care about this matter. His heart was greatly touched. It was the feeling of being valued. Cousin, the smell isn't right. Zhou Zhongmao said. How so? Lin Fan asked. Cousin's ability was amazing. He didn't even smell anything, but he could actually sense it. Zhou Zhongmao thought for a moment. It's hard to say. Forget it. Let's go take a look at the corpse first. Lin Fan said. The village chief was in a difficult position. Young Master Lin, your status is precious, is filthy and messy inside. How can you enter? Lin Fan raised his hand and said calmly, "What do you mean by that? You are all from the Lin family. If anything happens to you, the Lin family will naturally take responsibility. Dirty or not, it doesn't matter." These words caused a great commotion among the villagers. They were moved. No one from an aristocratic family had ever said something like that to them. He actually admitted that they were from the Lin family. Everyone cheered in their hearts. They had to work hard to farm and repay young Master Lin. When Lin Fan came to the front of the house, Zhong Mao stopped him. Then he went in himself to see if there was any danger. If there was, he would nip the danger in the bud. She definitely wouldn't let the danger affect her cousin. "Cousin, come in," Zhou Mao said. The smell inside was a little unpleasant. Even if they died last night, they wouldn't have rotted so quickly. When Lin Fan saw the two corpses on the bed, he was stunned. This was the first time he had seen such a terrifying scene. The two corpses opened their mouths, and their eyeballs were gone. Their fingers were bent into claws like they had gone through a really terrifying scene before they died. They had become dry corpses like all the blood in their bodies had been sucked dry. "Who did this?" Lin Fan muttered. He then noticed something. The two corpses had a hole in their chests, and their hearts were dug out. He looked closely. The surrounding dried meat was really flat like it was dug out by a sharp tool. It was a little cruel. "Cousin, can you see anything from this wound?" Lin Fan asked. Zhou Mao touched the wound. "Cousin, this wound doesn't look like it was caused by a sharp tool. It looks like it was dug out by a hand." "Are you kidding me?" He even grabbed it with a hand. Who the hell has a round hand? The light in the room slowly dimmed. The room was originally really bright, but the ground seemed to have been split into two. The darkness continued to expand and swallow the light. The two of them didn't notice. But suddenly, there seemed to be a flash of red in the darkness. "Cousin, be careful." Zhou Mao reacted really quickly. He slapped with a palm that contained terrifying internal strength. He then grabbed his cousin and fled out of the room. Bang! When the two of them went outside, there seemed to be a dull sound coming from inside the house. "What's going on?" Lin Fan was a little confused, unable to react in time. Zhou Mao looked at the house warily. "Cousin, be careful. There's something hidden in the house." It was his first time encountering such a situation. The demon race knew that they lived far away from humans and had their own forces. They would not clash with humans. "Young master, are you okay?" Go Z asked in panic. Lin Fan waved his hands. He didn't even know what it was, and only his cousin brought him out. An uproar broke out. When the villagers saw the situation in Wang Da's house, they all retreated in fear. The originally bright room was now shrouded in black fog. It was so dark that one couldn't even see their own fingers. The black fog showed signs of flowing. It didn't seep out and didn't dissipate. It just filled the small house. "What are you? You dare to behave so arrogantly in the Lin family territory. Come out and surrender, otherwise I will teach you a lesson." Lin Fan hollered in rage. It was so F***king scary. Even a high martial arts world wouldn't be so magical. What kind of cultivation technique did he cultivate? How did he cause such a scene? Rage points plus 111. Lin Fan found it weird. There was actually an increase in rage points. What was going on? Was there someone hiding in the black fog and not daring to show his face? He used the bug-controlling technique to control an ant to charge into the room. He wanted to see what was going on and see what was going on. Instantly, his connection with the ant was cut off like the ant was already dead. What was that thing? It didn't even let off a small ant. Lin Fan exclaimed. His eyes were too good. The ant was just passing by, and he could notice it and kill it. How sick. "Cousin, you retreat first. I will keep an eye on it," Zhou Mao said solemnly. Lin Fan didn't leave. He found a stone and carried it, tossing it into the room. "What is going on, Scram?" The stone seeped into the darkness. With a punk, a stone shot out from the black fog. Zhou Mao slapped out with his palm, and his dense inner force shattered the stone. Rage points plus 222. Oh my god. Lin Fan felt like he had discovered a new continent. When did rage points become so easy to earn? Or was he a frog at the bottom of a well and didn't walk out of his city to take a look? Actually, as long as he walked out, he would notice that the ground was covered in rage points for him to pick up and take. Preposterous. You actually dare to fight back. I'm the Lin family young master. You dare to be arrogant in my Lin family territory. Today, you can forget about leaving. As long as I capture you, I will peel off your skin. Lin Fan hollered in rage. His aura was really firm, and he wasn't afraid at all. He would kill you first. Rage points plus 333. Amazing. It exploded out really quickly. He didn't even know what this thing was, and he wasn't familiar with it. He just scolded it a few times, and it gave him so many rage points. How easily did his mental state explode? P.S. Please recommend it. Chapter 65. The villagers were terrified. They had never seen such a weird thing. Such a weird scene made them even more certain that Wang Dai and his wife were killed by the evil demon. Originally, if the villagers faced such a situation, they would have fled. However, young Master Lin was here, so they couldn't leave. If something happened to young Master Lin in the Wang family village, they wouldn't be able to live. Moreover, young Master Lin treated them well, so they couldn't abandon him and run. The thinking of farmers was relatively simple. Whoever treated them well, they would be grateful and use their lives to repay that person. Cousin, don't let that thing run, Lin Fan said. During this period of time, he focused on Liang Yongqi in order to gain rage points. If he did too much, Liang Yongqi would become useless. If he continued, not to mention whether or not Liang Yongqi could take it, even he would feel guilty. Now that this thing appeared, it was a good thing. Zhou Mao's expression was solemn. A layer of light covered his palms. Cousin, let me test what this fellow is. Instantly, thick internal strength wrapped around Cousin's arms. He hollered, his fists smashing towards the ground. Demon ape true intent. Kong, a vicious demon ape formed from internal strength, roared in rage. An earth dragon rolled on the ground. The dirt broke apart, and a strong internal strength struck towards the room. Pung, pung. The black mist in the room shook, and a low sound spread out. However, there was no movement at all. Cousin, it doesn't seem to work. Zhou Mao was shocked. What was that thing? It could actually block his move. That shouldn't be the case. Although the black mist didn't have a physical form, the aura it gave off wasn't as strong as he thought. If it was really strong, in the house, just now, she might not have been able to bring her cousin out safely. Go Z-Blade. Lin Fan reached out and took Go Z's blade. Tiger roared. He slashed out, and a crescent blade light slashed into the room. This slash contained Lin Fan's strongest internal strength. Zhou Mao was shocked. He didn't expect cousin to become so strong. Just that blade alone had the strength of Martial Path Grade 4. Moreover, it was peak. However, the black mist wasn't injured at all. It just trembled slightly. Rage points plus 444. Who knew that one blade would give him rage points? What was that thing? It gave him rage points so easily. The more it was like this, the more he wanted to communicate with the other party, the better it would be for him to be able to obtain this thing. If he could spur him on all day and grind on him whenever he had nothing to do, perhaps it wouldn't be long before his own strength would rise to an extremely high level. He was being pressured everywhere. These days of enjoyment were not stable. Only by raising his own strength a little would he be able to crush all the fellows who stood in his way. Cousin. Zhou Mao wanted to ask his cousin how he became so strong, but before he could say anything, Lin Fan interrupted him. To Lin Fan, scolding people would damage his image and affect his identity as a rich young master. If there weren't so many people around, they would definitely start scolding him. But now that the villagers were here, he could only use his knife. He dispersed his cultivation. His physique returned to 0. Rage points plus 12,000. At a point, Thunderblade 4 styles had been upgraded to the perfection realm. He adjusted his destructive power to its strongest state. Instantly, the purple sun for sacred scripture circulated. Purple internal energy poured into his hands, and the blade condensed a purple glow. At the same time, A small electric current condensed on the blade. He let out a low growl. Heaven and earth destruction. The strongest move of the lightning blade 4 styles. It was also the strongest strength that he could use. At that moment, a purple knife glow that contained terrifying power roared out, causing friction with the air. Sparks flew as it slashed into the room. A low and heavy sound spread out. The black mist in the room seemed to have been injured, and a really deep hole appeared. It was like water being sliced apart, and then it slowly recovered. It wasn't quick. However, it was indeed slowly recovering. One could see with the naked eye that when the knife glow slashed in, the thin lightning swam about in the black mist like it was causing damage to the enemy. This situation is a little weird. Or do I need a special element to deal with these things? After Lin Fan slashed, he didn't feel tired. Instead, he was really pumped up. Lightning Blade 4 Styles was a high-grade blade technique. With his current internal strength, it wasn't easy for him to slash out his strongest knife. Logically speaking, that knife was enough to suck out all the internal strength in his body. However, it didn't affect Lin Fan at all. Zhou Zhongmao's mouth opened wide and his eyes opened wide. Too strong. He knew about the Lightning Blade 4 Styles. It was one of the top techniques in the Lin family. Cousin had actually cultivated the Lightning Blade 4 strokes to the 4th, which was also the last stroke. It was really terrifying. Rage points plus 556. Lin Fan looked at the situation in the room. Rage points came, and the black mist rumbled. However, it didn't exit the room like it was being restricted. When I slashed out, there was an electric current flowing. Does that mean that the blade technique has the lightning element? This weird black mist doesn't have any immunity towards lightning, so it was directly injured. He thought about it. That should be the case. Lin Fan held the knife and stepped forwards. He slashed out once more, and the knife glow broke through the air and slashed into the room. The black mist shook and boiled, like there was a face of a demon roaring out. A sharp sound spread out. Ah! Many villagers covered their ears and rolled on the ground. Cousin, let me do it. Zhou Zhongmao stepped forwards and circulated energy in his dantian. He opened his mouth, and a thunderous tiger roar exploded out. One could see the air being shaken by the naked eye, forming circles of ripples. It blocked the sharp sound of the black mist. You're a little arrogant. One more blade. Lin Fan took the chance to slash down. The black mist rumbled. As expected, that was the case. The thin electric current dealt a lot of damage to the black mist. Rage points plus 666. The black mist deducted 6 points for Lin Fan. These few blades probably made the black mist really angry. Just as Lin Fan wanted to slash a few more times, the black mist retracted like it was being sucked away by something. Suddenly, Lin Fan noticed that the soil at the corner of the room started to swell like something was fleeing. Cousin, chase with me. He wants to run. Lin Fan held his knife and chased. Cousin, Zhou Zhongmao wanted to tell his cousin not to chase as it was too dangerous, but his cousin didn't listen at all. He could only chase. Go Z, inform the guards to find us. The moment he said that, he had already disappeared without a trace. Go Z immediately went back. He is so quick. Lin Fan followed behind. He raised the knife in his hand and slashed towards a slope that was fleeing into the distance. The blade light struck out and directly slashed into the soil. It was tough for him to meet one, so how could he give up? He had to fight to the death and capture it to study it. Zhou Zhongmao quickly overtook Lin Fan. He had to protect his cousin's safety. Cousin, kill him. We have to stop him. Lin Fan slashed once more. Stop running. If you have balls, stand still. Very quickly, in front of them was a thick forest. Lin Fan chased. They left the village and came to a dark forest where the sunlight couldn't shine in. The black mist swooped. It seeped into the forest and disappeared without a trace. Where'd he go? Lin Fan searched. Zhou Zhongmao protected by Lin Fan's side. Cousin, we chased too far. Be careful and don't fall for his trap. Chapter 66. They didn't chase into the forest. Just outside, one step away, the sunlight shone down. One side was really bright, while the other was a little dark. Lin Fan wasn't a fool. If he charged in recklessly and faced danger, what would he do? It was tough for him to have the life of a rich family young master. If he really died and became livestock, he would definitely be slaughtered. The soil in the forest was a little moist. It was obvious that it was formed from not being exposed to sunlight for a long time. At the same time, a gray mist spread all around, slowly drifting about. It felt really dark and terrifying. At that moment, the escaping black mist appeared and gathered together, forming a human shape. It merged into the gray mist, and one couldn't see its face. One could only roughly see what it looked like. "If you have balls, then come out," Lin Fan shouted towards the human-shaped black mist in the forest. It really knew how to run. The two of them chased for a while before they managed to reach this place. Looking at the situation, the black mist obviously wanted them to enter the forest. That was impossible. If the enemy didn't move, then he wouldn't move. If he didn't attack in a bad environment, it would affect his normal performance. The black mist didn't move and didn't say a word. It just stood in the gray mist and stared at Lin Fan with a pair of furious eyes. Rage points plus 222. Just like that, rage points came. He felt that the rage of these weird things was much stronger than normal people. Lin Fan wouldn't let go of such a chance and scolded, "You shameless thing, you actually dared to cause trouble in my Lin family village. If you have balls, then walk in front of me. I will twist your head off and kick it like a ball. What are you looking at? If you're unhappy, then come over. What are you doing hiding in such a place?" Zhou Zhongmao was stunned as he looked at his cousin. He was really passionate about scolding. "Cousin, calm down. Scolding will harm your body." How could Lin Fan not scold? If he didn't, then he wouldn't get any rage points. Rage points plus 333. It was really too easy. He felt that the small support system wasn't for him to become strong, but for him to enjoy the process. In case things got too boring, he just wanted to have some fun. There were signs of fluctuations around the human-shaped black mist. Suddenly, the mist gathered together and struck out at Lin Fan one by one. This black fog was like a python, twisting and wriggling. Then, the top of the fog exploded, forming a black python's mouth, and two sharp teeth bit over. Lin Fan slashed down with sufficient internal strength. The lightning blade 4 strokes was really fierce, and the black mist seemed to be afraid of it. Bang! The black mist that formed the python's mouth instantly exploded and dispersed into the surroundings. Rage points plus 444-inch petty tricks. Stop hiding. If you have the guts, come out. What's the point of hiding in there? Lin Fan held his blade and waited. As long as he dared to come out, he would definitely chop him until he couldn't take care of himself. If he really couldn't do it, it was all because Cousin was by her side. "Cousin, do you have any skills that have a lightning attribute?" Lin Fan asked. According to the previous exchange, he realized that the black fog was afraid of electricity. Was this the same as all evil and filthy things being afraid of lightning? "Yes, but it's just an ordinary palm technique," Zhou Zhongmao said. "That's enough. This thing is afraid of lightning. Just use that ordinary palm technique to deal with it." Lin Fan really wanted to grab hold of this black mist and caress it properly. If he could succeed, he would definitely soar into the heavens. Zhou Zhongmao believed his cousin's words and didn't doubt him at all. "Okay, I will try." "Cousin, don't come in." Even if he really couldn't, with his strength, he would be able to retreat. However, if Cousin was in trouble, then he would regret it. He hollered. Zhou Zhongmao charged into the forest and then hollered. Big Dipper silence palm. How long? There was a low thunder sound in Cousin's body. Lightning wrapped around his palms and crackled. The thigh-thick lightning wrapped around his body and moved along with his hands. Damn, this is a normal palm technique. Cousin, you are acting cool. If this was a normal palm technique, then he would have seen a ghost. At that moment, Cousin was really quick. He came in front of the black mist and slapped with his palms. Terrifying lightning surged forwards. Pung! The black mist exploded. Its body was really unstable. Cousin, it really works. Zhou Mao hollered. He thought that it would be easily dodged or that it wouldn't cause any damage, but now it seemed like the damage was not bad. Lin Fan was delighted. Okay, I am here. Let's take down this thing. The moment he said that, he immediately rushed forward. Physique returned to normal. At the same time, he used his rage points to add. Lightning Blade 4 strokes, basics. Lightning Blade 4 strokes, advanced. Lightning Blade 4 strokes, mastery. He was left with 44 rage points. However, this was enough. Physique and internal strength had reached martial path grade 4. If he fought with the Black Mist, he should be able to fight it out. Cousin, be careful. Zhou Mao was worried. Thick internal strength broke out of his body, and lightning gathered in his palms. He slapped forwards and was about to scatter the Black Mist. Slash! Lin Fan hollered and slashed out. The aura was even stronger. Strength along with internal strength. The aura that exploded out was even more terrifying. Poochie! The Black Mist was slashed by the blade. The lightning on the blade sizzled and gave off a huge threat. So I'm strong too, Lin Fan muttered. After adding points to such a level, apart from not being able to gain an advantage against the assassin, he had been feeling really frustrated. However, it felt really good to fight the Black Mist. It felt really good to slash it. Cousin, retreat first. Leave it to me, I can deal with it. Zhou Mao said. He wished that his cousin wouldn't make a move and leave everything to him. What would he do if he was injured? Cousin, what are you saying? You can deal with it, but you have to make me feel good. Stop talking, just kill him. Lin Fan used his strongest blade each time. The Black Mist was furious. The two of them surrounded him, and one of them gave him the biggest threat. He wanted to flee, but he couldn't. Pung! The Black Mist smashed into the ground. His body gave off a mist that was struck by lightning, and he would twitch occasionally. Cousin, what is the strength of this thing? Lin Fan asked. Zhou Mao said, it is similar to peak martial path grade 6, but it is too weird. One needs to use a special cultivation technique to deal with it. Without it, it would be really problematic. The two of them didn't take long before they subdued it. It was really simple. At this moment, the Black Mist dissipated, and its body was revealed. It looked like a human, but its skin was really black, a dark and sinister black. How is it? I told you not to be arrogant. Lin Fan stepped on his head and humiliated him to his heart's content. Rage points plus 555. The Black Mist was furious. Suddenly, it clawed towards Lin Fan. It was really quick. Poochie! Lin Fan waved his blade and sliced off its entire arm. Black liquid scattered. Don't resist, be good. The Black Mist trembled. There was no black mist protecting its body, and only a thin black mist spread out. Cousin, be careful in case it tries to resist before death. Zhou Mao reminded. Lin Fan thought about it and nodded his head. Cousin, your words make sense. Just at that moment, Zhou Mao grabbed the legs of the Black Mist and used his hand as a blade to slice down. Poochie! Both legs were sliced off. Then, he tore off the other arm. Black blood splattered onto Zhou Mao's face. Cousin wiped it off and smiled. Cousin, it is okay now. His expression was really calm, like he had done something really normal. There were no fluctuations at all. Lin Fan looked at his cousin. He only had one thought in his heart, which was that he was really amazing. His methods were really overbearing. Good, not bad. Cousin, you have made me look at you differently. Bring this thing back and let me play with it. Chapter 67. This thing was definitely not human. His 4 limbs were broken, but he didn't even scream, and the blood was black. He didn't understand what it was. It could only be said that nothing was too strange in this world. There were unknown creatures in this world. Wang Village. Gozi hurried back to inform the guards. Young master and instructor chased after that weird living being, and it was unknown if they were dead or alive. He was really worried. She had worked hard to cultivate just to protect the young master. However, it was useless. It was as if he was born unsuited for cultivation. In the distance, 2 figures walked over. Young master, Gozi shouted. He heaved a sigh of relief. It was good that he was safe. If something really happened, he wouldn't feel at ease. Zhou Mao through the mysterious creature on the ground. Bring it back. The guard were shocked. They had never seen such a creature before. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and carry it. Zhong Mao glared at them. These brats had not trained much recently, and they were already greasy. What was there to be afraid of? Other than looking a little ugly, there was nothing special about them. To ensure safety, Zhong Mao used the special inner energy of the Big Dipper silence palm to seal his limbs. At the same time, he left a bit of inner energy in his opponent's body to suppress him and ensure that he would not struggle on his deathbed. When the villagers saw this terrifying thing, they couldn't help but step back. This was the culprit who had killed Wang Dai and his wife. As expected, he wasn't human. This was a demon. Villagers, the culprit has been caught. You can rest in peace and bury this family properly. If something like this happens again in the future, come and find me at any time. Lin Fan couldn't wait to go back and play with this thing. Thank you, young Master Lin. The villagers were moved to tears. This was because the hidden danger in their hearts was resolved. If it wasn't resolved, they really wouldn't dare to live here. No one knew who would die next. Let's go back. Lin Fan led the group and left. Their rewards were not bad. Lin Mansion. Old Wu came back much faster than young Master. When Go Zi came back to inform him, he felt that things weren't right. He rushed towards the Wang family village. He knew what it was, and it wasn't something young Master could deal with. However, when he got there, he noticed that young Master and Zhong Mao had already settled the matter. But this wasn't solving the problem. It was creating trouble. In the study, Elder Wu knocked on the door and entered. Lin Wani was reading a book. He raised his head and asked, "What's wrong?" "Old Master." Old Wu wanted to say something, but hesitated. He didn't know what to say. Lin Wani put down the book and asked doubtfully, "What's the matter?" That was what he asked. However, a bad premonition shrouded his heart. In the past, Old Wu would always speak his mind. It had never been like this before. "Someone died in the Wang family village this morning," said Old Wu. After thinking about it, he decided to lay the foundation first. It would not be good for him to directly use his ultimate move. The ones who died were a couple. Young Master and Zhong Mao went to Wang family village to find out the truth, and then they met the Yin demons. Lin Wani frowned. Didn't I tell him not to go out during this period of time? Why is he so disobedient? Forget it. Since he met him, then so be it. Suffering a little loss will teach him a lesson. Old Master that. Old Wu found it tough to speak, but he had no choice. He had to say it. Young Master didn't lose out. That Yin demon was captured by young Master and Zhong Mao. His limbs were broken. He should have been sent back to the back courtyard. What? Patter. Lin Wani stood up. His eyes opened wide, and his face flushed red. You said that the unfilial kid and Zhong Mao captured the Yin demon and broke his limbs? If Old Wu didn't say it, he wouldn't believe it. Yin demons needed special cultivation techniques to break the body. Otherwise, it would be useless. Of course, Yin demons had a weakness, which was that they couldn't appear in the day. Otherwise, they would lose all their strength and could only move in the dark. However, all of this wasn't the main point. The main point was that the unfilial kid actually brought the Yin demon back. He knew that the unfilial kid would cause trouble, but he didn't need strength to do so. It was easy to solve, or rather, he could just ignore it. However, he really didn't expect that he could actually offend such a thing that required strength to do so. Let's go take a look. Lin Wani had to take a look. This unfilial kid was causing trouble for him. Back courtyard. The Yin demon was placed in a metal lump, leaving only his head outside. Lin Fan held a spatula and used the back of it to pat the Yin demon's face. Are you angry? Young Master is asking you. Are you angry? He had to use this chance to get some rage points. The Yin demon bared his teeth, revealing his sharp teeth. With one bite, he would probably be able to swallow a person. Rage points plus 111. It was a little. So little rage points. It was a little unfair to his identity. How overbearing and domineering was he from before adding them? It seemed like each person's rage points had a limit. From the initial rage to habit to numbness, there was a process. Under the sunlight, the Yin demon was powerless. A pair of furious eyes stared right at Lin Fan. He could only bare his mouth to express his rage. "Cousin, be careful." Zhou Mao guard at the side in case this thing went berserk and hurt his cousin. To him, this was a dangerous thing. Lin Fan laid on the chair, holding the spatula to tease the Een demon. He smiled. "It is okay. This thing is a little interesting." "Why do I feel like it has no energy? Is it because it's shown on the sun?" If the sun was their counter, it was just a little higher than a ghost. The spatula in his hand poked the Een demon's face. He didn't have any intention of killing the Een demon. He just bullied him like that. It was a good thing to gain some rage points. Rage points plus 123. After poking for a while, some rage points appeared. However, no matter how small a mosquito was, it was still meat. He wasn't so extravagant. Father's rage points seemed to have reached a bottleneck. Unless he faced a shocking matter, he wouldn't be able to break through. "Young master, old master is here," Go Zi said softly. Lin Fan was thinking about all this when he saw Father and Old Wu walk over. He got up. "Father, why did you come?" Why did he come? His question was a little professional. He caused trouble outside and didn't even know about it. He actually asked him why he came. He knew the answer but still asked. He looked at the Een demon who was locked up in the metal lump. Only his head was exposed. Lin Wani didn't know what to say. This Een demon was strong, martial path grade 6. Along with his special ability, he was a problematic person. He didn't expect that this troublesome thing would be caught by his unfilial son. His 4 limbs were all lost by his unfilial son. How useless was that? Of course, if Zhong Mao was beside the unfilial son, the situation would be different. Before Lin Wani said anything, Lin Fan asked, "Father, what do you think this thing is?" He actually dared to kill people in Wang family village. That is our Lin family territory. Those villagers are our wealth. Now that I captured him, we have to teach him a lesson. Don't worry, I have thought of a way to let this fellow know what the outcome of harming our Lin family is. There was nothing wrong with what he said. Wang family village was the Lin family's territory. The villagers were the Lin family's wealth. Lin Wani had many things to say, but his unfilial son's words made him speechless. He didn't know how to deal with it. His words made sense. Chapter 68. Uncle, cousin is right. Wang family village is the Lin family's property. This weird thing is killing the villagers. It is harming the Lin family's interests. Zhou Mao said those words not because he felt pain for the villagers that died, but because he had to protect his cousin's property. He definitely wouldn't allow outsiders to harm the Lin family. "Zhou Mao, I have something to do." Lin Wani thought about it and felt like he had to send Zhou Mao out. He just said it. As long as he came back, this unfilial kid would drag his cousin out to cause trouble. "Uncle, I feel like my cultivation is about to break through. I want to wait until I break through before I go." Zhou Mao said. This was to separate him from cousin. One trip would take several days. If they were further, it might even take half a month. He had to find an excuse to reject it. Lin Fan said, "Father, cousin just came back, and now he has something to do. That is too much. Let cousin rest at home. If there really is something else, let old Wu help." "Shut up." Lin Wani stared. "I haven't asked you. How are you going to deal with the Een demon you brought back?" "Father, this is called an Een demon?" Lin Fan asked. So this thing was called an Een demon, just the name made it sound a little weak. Lin Wani said with an annoyed expression, "Don't change the topic. I am asking you. How are you going to deal with it?" Lin Fan thought about it for a moment and said, "Father, I have thought about it. Directly killing him would be too easy on him. I will let him die quickly and decisively. So, I want to torture him during this period of time. Then I will boil a pot of oil, boil it, let it bubble, fry it, and feed it to the dogs." Old Wu looked at young master. He didn't expect him to have such cruel methods. He really didn't see in the past. "Father, don't think that I am vicious. The main thing is that this Een demon is really dark. It is afraid of lightning and sunlight. I will boil it and fry it for a few days to reduce the Een energy in its body to prevent future problems." Lin Fan said. Lin Wani found it weird. How did this unfilial kid know the Een demon's weakness? When he was young and lived in U City, he had met a demon. When he fought it, he felt that it was really tough. In the end, he found out the demon's weakness and felt that he was really smart. However, this unfilial kid knew its weakness right after meeting it. What was going on? Rage points plus 333 rage came. So, the demon was furious. When he heard what Lin Fan said, the flames of rage in his heart couldn't be extinguished. They actually wanted to fry him. Damn it. Hand the demons to me. I will deal with them. Lin Wani said. Lin Fan waved his hands and rejected. Father, how can I let you deal with this? It is just a small matter. Leave it to me. I also want to study what demons are. What a joke. How could he hand the demon to his father? If he really gave it, where'd he find rage points? He had to wipe out all the demons. When that happened, he would give it to whoever he wanted, and he wouldn't reject it. Lin Wani looked at the demon and didn't know what to say. Maybe this was the most tragic demon he had ever seen. It wasn't a shameful thing to be subdued by anyone. However, he didn't expect to be captured by his unfilial son and have his 4 limbs broken. This was a huge loss of face. Okay, then you can slowly study it. Lin Wani didn't want to say more. There was nothing more to say. Everything was already decided. So what else could he say? When old Wu left, he looked at the demon. He shook his head. This demon was strong to others, but to old master, it was too weak. Cousin, why do I feel like uncle didn't say anything to us? Zhou Mao said. Lin Fan touched his chin. That seems to be the case, but don't worry about it. Let's study this demon. To old demon, he was really tragic. He had a bad start. After killing 2 people, he was caught before he was even able to relax. After he was caught, he didn't receive the treatment he deserved and was instead humiliated. Lin Fan's walk would smack the demon's face. He didn't have a goal. He would occasionally ask whether or not it hurt. The rage points that the demon provided were a little unstable. Sometimes high, sometimes low. However, it was still okay. At least there was rage points. Under Lin Fan's instructions, Cousin removed the iron lump and tied the demon to the wooden frame. Lin Fan took a look and said unhappily, Cousin, I'm not scolding you, but you didn't clean it up properly. Why? Zhou Mao asked curiously. What wasn't quiet? Lin Fan raised his hand and pointed at the demon's hanging limb. Look, there's another limb. Zhou Mao scratched his head. Cousin, I was too careless. I will chop it off now. Rage points plus 666. Instantly, the demon was struck by rage points. Maybe no matter which race it was, that thing was really important. Forget it, leave him some face. Don't touch the bottom line of a man, otherwise, what is the point? Lin Fan took the wok and played with it. There is nothing special about it. Humiliation. Unbridled humiliation. The demon hollered. However, under the suppression of the sunlight, he didn't even have the strength to speak. Only those furious eyes stared right at Lin Fan. Gozi was terrified. The young master's words were actually really vicious, but his expression was too calm, making one feel a chill down one's spine. He walked around the demon. On its back, there were 2 tumors covered in green meridians. The other parts were no different from a human's. Lin Fan took the wok and smacked the demons, but, Kiki, there's some elasticity, not bad. Gozi's body shuddered. Those words were too evil. Rage points plus 233. The demon was like an item being inspected by the shopper. That night, the sky was really dark and the wind blew. The Lin Manor Road reflected many black shadows. There were the shadows of the tree branches on both sides. The reading room was brightly lit. Lin Wani held the book and was really focused. Occasionally, he would drink some tea. Amorous Feelings, this book was the masterpiece of Zhang Zhun, a master storyteller. It described the matters of the imperial dynasty and the inner palace. It was written really realistically. When this book was published, it sold really well and swept the world. Unfortunately, on the second day this book was published, Zhang Zhun drowned in a *T hole. The books on the market disappeared overnight, and only this one was left. It was the only copy that Lin Wani had kept for dozens of years. When he was free, he would take it out and read it. The wind outside became stronger. The wooden door creaked open and then closed. Another creak opened and then closed. Occasionally, there seemed to be a black shadow at the window, appearing and disappearing. Linwani sighed and closed the book. He said towards the air, "Since you are here, then come in. Why do you have to be so sneaky?" A black mist seeped in from the crack of the door. Black mist gathered on the green bricks of the reading room. It rolled and formed into a human shape. One couldn't see its face, and it was really blurry. "Bring your men away. Remember, don't disturb my son's rest." Linwani said. There was no reply. Linwani asked, "Is there a problem?" "Linwani, does the promise you made with us still count?" The demon opened his mouth. His voice didn't sound like a human's. It was dark and indiscernible, filled with a thread of fear. "Of course, but my son doesn't know about it, so I can only apologize. Bring your men away, and we will forget about this matter." Linwani said. The black mist around the demon was really thick, even thicker than that of the demon that Lin Fan caught. "Your son sliced off the limbs of my race's warrior and is provoking us. Apart from releasing him, I want one of your son's legs as compensation." "Are you serious?" Linwani stared at the demon. The demon didn't say anything as there was a huge pressure covering him. Like if he dared to say that he was serious, he probably wouldn't be able to walk out of this place. However, when he thought about how he wasn't alone and that he had the entire demon race behind him, his courage came. "I came to tell you what my race wants. As for whether or not you can do it, that is your problem. If not, then I will take your son's life." The moment he said that, the demon turned into a black mist and disappeared from the spot. Linwani got up like he didn't care about the demon at all. He picked up the book and placed it on the shelf. This was mental food and couldn't be destroyed. "Unfilial kid, you really know how to cause trouble." Linwani walked out of the reading room. "Old master." Old Wu appeared at the side. Linwani said calmly, "The demons have slept for 20 years and have become dumb. It is time to wake them up." Chapter 69. U City, East Forest. To the people of U City, this place was really dangerous and hid many secrets that no one knew about. There were people who entered this place and never came out. At night, when they got close to the East Forest, occasionally, they would hear low roars spread out from the dark forest. It was really terrifying, like there were evil demons within. "Pata! Pata!" Two people appeared in the forest and landed on the ground. The darkness was like a demon that wanted to swallow the two of them. "Old master, the demon race has awakened, and this place has become dangerous." Old Wu teased. He felt like he didn't care about this place at all. He said those words just to tease them. "Dangerous? I want to let the dangers here know what true danger is. 20 years ago, if they threatened me, I could laugh it off. As for now, I have to make them pay the price." Linwani's calm attitude disappeared, and what replaced it was an overbearing one. His aura changed greatly. Old Wu knew what Old Master meant. He didn't have a child 20 years ago, so they could kill him however they wanted. Now that Old Master had a young master, how could he be threatened by them? Even if it wasn't true, with Old Master's personality, he would kill the danger in its cradle. The darkness can only scare normal people. Linwani took a look and stepped forwards. He hollered, "Retreat." An aura that normal people couldn't have exploded out. A fiery red glow appeared behind him. It was extremely eye-catching, and the surrounding darkness retreated. The fiery red light lit up the dark forest. "Z." The demons in the darkness cried out. Red patterns appeared on their bodies like flames were burning in their bodies and were about to burst out. Old Master's methods have become more overbearing. Old Wu exclaimed. He hadn't seen Old Master attack in a long time, and now that he looked at him, he was really extraordinary. In the dark forest in the distance, the black mist was boiling. "Linwani, what do you want to do?" A dark and sunken voice spread out. "There is no point in talking so much. Let's kill a wave first." Linwani replied. He didn't give them a chance to talk to him. Demons struck from the darkness. Linwani waved his arm, and a scorching flame broke through everything. The Een demons didn't even cry out before they turned to dust. The Een demons hidden in the depths looked on in terror. What was going on? Wasn't it just a threat? Now it was time to get serious. Was there a need to be so serious? It was dawn, the backyard of the Lin mansion. Lin Fan woke up early and took a deep breath of fresh air. He was in a good mood. Such a carefree life could really degenerate people. But he didn't care. Let this continue, and let this young master continue to fall. Zhou Mao brought the Een demon who nearly had his fifth limb chopped off back to look after him. When he slept, he placed him at the side. At night, the Een demon recovered its strength and wanted to cause some trouble. However, Zhou Mao stopped it. In this round, he immediately became well-behaved, not daring to act rashly. The Een demon wanted to cry. Who did he offend for him to suffer like this? Furthermore, he had clearly sensed the aura of his own kind last night. He had thought that he would be saved and was secretly happy. However, he didn't expect to see a ghost. There wasn't even a bubble. In the blink of an eye, the sky brightened. Lin Fan had his breakfast in the backyard. He just ordered some birds nested with old ginseng, which tasted all right. They didn't eat these to fill their stomachs. Are you hungry? Lin Fan held the wok and turned around to look at the Een demon. In the morning, it wasn't good to use violent methods to deal with the Een demon. He had to be gentle. As time went on, the weather became more and more explosive. The Een demon didn't say anything. He just stared at Lin Fan in rage. Did anyone die in the city this morning? Lin Fan asked. 2 people died in the Wang family village, so there shouldn't be just one Een demon. It had to be a group. If there were more, he didn't mind capturing the other Een demons to deal with slowly. Young master, no, Go Zi said. He then thought about something. However, there was a fire in the East Forest. Someone saw that the forest was covered in flames, and many screams could be heard from far away. Lin Fan frowned. Who did it? So immoral. Didn't they know that the forest was a good thing? Whether or not the air was fresh depended on the trees. As for the screams, there were definitely many animals that died. Haze. At that moment, Lin Fan's merciful heart exploded out, and he sighed. Was it a natural disaster, or was it done by humans? Did they go to fight the fire? Lin Fan asked. Go Zi was stunned. Fight the fire for what? If it burned, then so be it. Who knows if it was a natural disaster or done by humans? However, the fire was suddenly extinguished. Go Zi was really confused. Who knew what was going on? Such a huge forest, if it was on fire, it would burn brighter and brighter. However, in the end, it was suddenly extinguished. Lin Fan listened on and felt that there were many weird things about this matter. How would a burning flame be extinguished by itself? It seemed like many things that no one knew about happened last night. Young master, are we going out later? Go Zi asked. With young master's lifestyle, he would definitely head out. During this period of time, young master didn't stay in the manor for long. Apart from coming back to sleep at night, he would head out once he woke up. Let's talk about it later. Let's have a good chat with this fellow. Go to the kitchen and tell someone to boil a pot of oil. I want to experiment with something. Lin Fan instructed. The Een demon, who was sliced into a human stick, raised his head. Boil oil? What did he want to do? Rage points plus 111. Lin Fan received the rage points and felt much better. He got up, picked up the spatula, and pointed it at the Een demon. Cousin, do you think the Een demon's body structure is different from ours? Cousin scratched his head. This question was a little deep. How would he know that the Een demon's body structure was different from theirs? Cousin, should I split him open? Zhou Mao asked. He was willing to solve anything for his cousin. If cousin had something he didn't understand, he would think of a way to let him understand. As for what the Een demon's body structure was different from theirs, he really didn't know. The Een demon's body shuddered, and for some reason, fear covered his heart. He looked towards Zhou Mao. How could this unprepossessing, dark-skinned fellow say such ruthless words? What is the rush? Lin Fan said. He suddenly felt that under his cousin's honest look, he was actually a little cruel. The Een demon heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed like he was temporarily safe. He had been waiting for people of the same race to save him. People of the same race definitely wouldn't abandon him. Very quickly, Go Zi carried a pot of oil over. Before it was boiled, he sent it over to the courtyard to boil. The Een Demon looked on, and his heart shook. Pata! Lin Fan smacked the Een Demon's face with the spatula and asked, "Are you afraid?" The Een Demon looked at Lin Fan. The human in front of him insulted him so badly. Rage burned in his heart as he roared out. However, the moment he opened his mouth, the spatula reached in and opened his mouth. "Cousin, his teeth are worth researching. Pull them out," Lin Fan said. Cousin didn't hesitate. His fingers filled with internal strength as he stabbed in. With a kacha, a sharp tooth was pulled out and a thick stench spread out. "So smelly. How long has it been since I last washed my teeth?" Lin Fan waved his hands and chased away the stench in the air. DD. The pot of oil boiled. He directly tossed the tooth into the pot to boil for a while before scooping it out. The originally black tooth turned white. This was a shocking discovery. Rage points plus 222. "Cousin, why is the tooth white? It is obviously black." Zhou Mao asked. Lin Fan thought about it for a moment. Maybe this is what happens after the Een energy of the Een Demon is chased away. Zhou Mao said, "Cousin, then let's put him in to try." Oh my God, Cousin was so cruel. Why didn't he notice it in the past? Chapter 70. Old Wu watched from the shadows. He wanted to say something, but hesitated. It wasn't that he was dissatisfied with his young master's actions. But this Een Demon was a little tragic. Go back and inform Old Master. In the living room. Young Master didn't go out. He is studying the Een Demon in the back courtyard. He pulled out its teeth and boiled some oil to place it in. "Haze, Een Demon is really unlucky to meet young Master," Old Wu exclaimed. Een Demons were really terrifying in the darkness. Just looking at them would terrify some people. But her young master was really awesome. He studied the Een Demon in broad daylight, not bothering about him at all. He didn't even leave him any dignity at all. Lin Wani didn't understand what was so fun about Een Demons. If it was a woman, he would be overjoyed. The sooner they got married, the sooner they had children. In the future, they wouldn't have to place all their hopes on him. They could be as hedonistic as they wanted. He would definitely raise his grandchildren well. But this unfilial son didn't give him a chance. What else could he do? It's good that he didn't go out. At least he doesn't cause trouble for me, and I have to clean up his mess. Lin Wani said, and then asked, "Which family do you think is good? I want to find a marriage for this unfilial kid." Old Wu pondered. "Old Master, how about Rome City's Li family's young miss? I heard that the young lady of the Li family is extremely beautiful, and her martial arts are not bad. She doesn't have the bad habits of a young lady, just that her temper is a bit rash. If young master can become a couple with the young lady of the Li family, perhaps she can control young master." Speaking of marriage, Old Wu was interested. He had watched the young master grow up and treated him like his own child. Old Man Wu was not young either. He had no relatives or children. He had been at the Lin family's beck and call all his life. He did not want to have anything to worry about other than the Lin family. And the eldest daughter of the Li family, Li Zhixiu, not bad, a smart little girl. Lin Wani was very satisfied. When it came to choosing a wife, he was quite serious. Lin Fan trained the Een Demons in the back courtyard. The furious Een Demons provided many rage points. The boiling oil was giving off bubbles. To the Een Demons, this was a really dangerous matter. The wok in Lin Fan's hand smacked the Een Demons, but leaving 2 deep red marks. The Een Demon didn't feel ashamed, but he felt that Lin Fan was insulting him. Until the afternoon, the Een Demons had brought Lin Fan over 1,000 rage points. That was something that had to be honed slowly. It seemed like the rage points of the Een Demon had reached the peak and were really unstable, even being suppressed to a very low 0 point. Dozens, hundreds, and more than 100 slowly pulsating like this. After playing with the Een Demons for half a day, he suddenly felt that it was pointless. The increase was too little. It was not enough at all. Take this thing with you and go out. He didn't want to stay at home and had to head out to gain gains. This Een Demon seemed to be used to it and didn't provide much rage points. "Young master, what about the oil pot?" Gozi asked. Lin Fan said casually, "Keep it. Continue to cook it. Come back and cook it. Rage points plus 88. Look here, look here, look here. 88 points. It wasn't even enough to fill the gaps between my teeth. He was very disappointed with this thing. At first, he thought that he would soar into the sky and instantly max out his points. But now, he realized that he was just a piece of trash. A group of people walked into the street. The demons attracted the attention of many commoners. They had never seen such a creature before, and their curiosity was piqued. They passed by Drunk Fragrance Pavilion. Habitually, they raised their heads and noticed that there was a familiar person. Looking closely, wasn't that the second son of the Yuan family, Yuan Tianshu? He looked like a dog with a long forehead. He also had some animosity with him and didn't have a chance to deal with him. Now that the chance was here, naturally, he wouldn't let it go. However, one had to say that aristocratic family disciples all looked good. Thinking about it, it made sense. How could a girl who married into an aristocratic family be ugly? If she was ugly, she wouldn't be able to enter the gates of an aristocratic family. Young Master Lin, you are here. Please take a seat. The manager welcomed him warmly. However, when he saw the demon, he felt a little off. His body felt itchy, like there was a cold energy in his heart. In the pavilion, Yuan Tianshu drank and ate. At the same time, he was talking to a young man. Looking at his dressing, he wasn't a normal person. At that moment, he looked at Lin Fan from the corner of his eyes. His expression was slightly weird, but there wasn't much change. He acted like nothing had happened. The person drinking with Yuan Tianshu noticed his expression. He turned his head and took a look. He then asked a few questions and got Yuan Tianshu's confirmation. He couldn't help but look at Lin Fan. This was the U-City Lin Manor young master. Lin Fan noticed that someone was looking at him and smiled back politely. Like he was saying, "Brother, you look a little unfamiliar." The seat he chose was next to Yuan Tianshu's. The two tables were next to each other. He told cousin to place the demon on the left, and he looked towards Yuan Tianshu's table. "Young Master Lin, what would you like to eat?" The manager welcomed him warmly. "Anything is fine," Lin Fan said. The manager smiled. "Okay, young Master Lin, please wait for a moment." Lin Fan didn't talk to Yuan Tianshu and just sat there. Zhou Zhongmao was prepared to fight. Based on cousin's habits, a battle would explode in an instant. Yuan Tianshu didn't know what this fellow was planning. However, seeing that Lin Fan didn't offend him, he was lazy to bother. Slowly, he felt that something wasn't right. There was always a pair of eyes staring at him, making him feel uncomfortable. He glanced and exchanged glances with the demon's eyes. The demon's gaze made one uncomfortable, especially after he was tortured by Lin Fan to the point he nearly collapsed. His eyes were filled with rage and darkness. Yuan Tianshu turned his head and didn't look at him anymore. He continued to eat. Rage points plus 88. It was obvious that the rage points were given by Yuan Tianshu. This move was really despicable. People were having a good meal, but you directly placed a person with broken limbs in front of them. Moreover, the fifth limb was hanging in the air. Who could eat that? Yuan Tianshu raised his cup and wanted to drink with him, but suddenly he saw an afterimage. He turned his head and didn't expect that it was the demon's fifth limb. Ugh! Yuan Tianshu's stomach rolled. He wanted to vomit, but he forcefully swallowed it back down. "Young Master Yuan, are you pregnant?" Lin Fan said after a long while. "Pooh!" The guy sitting opposite Yuan Tianshu spat out a mouthful of wine. He really didn't expect young Master Lin's words to be so funny. Rage points plus 111. Yuan Tianshu didn't bother about Lin Fan. He didn't want to have a conflict with Lin Fan here, especially when his cousin was here. To him, his cousin was a fool who didn't hold back and didn't care about anyone. If he was really beaten up, he wouldn't even have a place to complain. Lin Fan saw that Yuan Tianshu didn't bother about him, so he didn't ask for trouble. He told the demon to stare viciously at them, causing them to panic. There was a delicacy on the table. However, to Yuan Tianshu, it was tough for him to swallow. "Young Master Lin, can you not let this thing face us? It is uncomfortable," Yuan Tianshu said. Lin Fan replied, "Just don't look at him." Rage points plus 233. Yuan Tianshu was furious, but there was nothing he could do. He couldn't eat this meal anymore. Damn, Lin Fan, you win. If you have balls, then just wait and see. Waiter bill. Yuan Tianchu got up and slapped the table to pay before leaving. He felt really uncomfortable being stared at by that thing. Not to mention eating, he didn't even feel comfortable sitting there. When Yuan Tianchu left, Lin Fan also paid the bill. Quick, follow him. Cousin is carrying that thing, so just face it at him. Lin Fan said. He had nothing to do every day, apart from doing something for himself. What else could he do? If he had to blame someone, he could only blame himself for being too peaceful. P.S. Thank you, DRK Dino, 20,000 cheating dollars. Chapter 71. Young Master Yuan. Do you have conflicts with young Master Lin? Wang Yunfei asked. Yuan Tianchu replied. There is no conflict. This was a genuine lie. How could there be no conflict? He didn't want to tell Wang Yunfei that the conflict between him and that fellow had always existed. In fact, he even wanted to kill this guy. He was so annoying. How is that possible? Wang Yunfei said with a weird expression. If there is no conflict, then why does it feel like young Master Lin is chasing us? Yuan Tianchu turned his head and saw Lin Fan chasing. Cousin, run over first. Run in front of him and let the Een Demon face this fellow. Go wherever he goes. Lin Fan instructed. He didn't expect this kid to run so quickly. If his eyes weren't sharp, he might have been able to escape. Yuan Tianchu was stunned. Did he bump into a ghost? Why did he bump into such a dumb thing? Although there was conflict between them, it wasn't on the surface. Especially today. He was eating and bumping into you. Looking at the situation, you were chasing him relentlessly. It was really terrifying. Instantly, Zhou Zhongmao blocked in front of Yuan Tianchu. The Een Demon behind him stared at them. The Een Demon was expressionless. He felt that he was really pitiful. Yuan Tianchu and the Een Demon stared right into each other's eyes. That feeling was really uncomfortable. He changed his direction to avoid the Een Demon's eyes. However, Zhou Zhongmao followed closely and kept the Een Demon in their sights. Damn, that dog. Did he have to be so overboard? Rage points plus 123. Lin Fan raised his head and looked around. He acted really casually like he didn't know what was happening here. As expected, he gained rage points. He didn't do anything today and just stared at Yuan Tianchu. He had such a boring life, so he had to find some fun for himself. The rage points he gained were okay. Although it wasn't a lot, it was a good start. Yuan Tianchu suppressed the rage in his heart and walked in front of Zhou Zhongmao. Can you not stand in front of us? Zhou Zhongmao turned his head. Is the road yours? What does where I stand have to do with you? That one reply made Yuan Tianchu want to hit him. However, he knew that he couldn't beat Zhou Zhongmao, so he could only bear with it. Wang Yunfei didn't come from Rome City to Yu City to play. He didn't come out to mediate the conflict between young Master Yuan and young Master Lin. He just watched from the side. One is marked by the company one keeps. Only by standing on the periphery could one see more clearly. You win. Young Master Wang, please follow me. This way. If I can't beat you, I'll just avoid you. He knew what happened to Liang Yongqi. He fought Lin Fan head-on and was beaten up on the streets. After that, he didn't even get a fart. He would never let such a thing happen to him. Zhou Zhongmao saw them change directions, so how could he let them escape? Cousin had instructed him to follow them no matter what and not lose them. Therefore, he put in 120% of his focus and stared at his target with full concentration. If this counted as acting points, then his score could only be 0. Anyone with a discerning eye could tell that Zhang Xian was intentionally following the other party. It wasn't a coincidence. Patter. Suddenly, Yuan Tianchu's vision blurred, and a figure appeared in front of them in a hurry. There seemed to be something moving in front of them. Zhou Zhongmao's back faced the two of them, and the Een Demon was really close to their faces. With its limbs broken, the naked Een Demon was no different from a pile of shit. Where's this? Why did I come here? Zhou Zhongmao acted like he didn't see the two of them. He floated and looked left and right, acting like he didn't see the two of them behind. Rage points plus 233. Yuan Tianchu clenched his fists. Zhou Zhongmao, what do you want to do? I am looking for my cousin. Zhou Zhongmao said. Your cousin is behind. Yuan Tianshu pointed at the annoying fellow in the distance. He did it on purpose and was obviously targeting him. He actually used such despicable methods to annoy him. Oh, Zhou Zhongmao replied. He continued to look left and right, not thinking about leaving at all. Yuan Tianshu was about to rage. I already told you that cousin is there, so what are you still looking for? Zhou Zhongmao replied. I am looking for my cousin. Forget it. You are purposely angering me, right? Okay, you win. One day you will get what you deserve. He really didn't expect that he would face such a thing when he went out. Why didn't he see that these people were so despicable? Young Master Yuan, don't be angry. Let's just avoid them. Wang Yunfei said. Okay, young Master Wang, please follow me. Yuan Tianshu suppressed the rage in his heart and smiled. Wang Yunfei was the Rong City Wang family young master, so naturally he had to treat him well. Who knew that he would face such a thing? It was completely disrupting his mood. It also spoiled his plan to treat young Master Wang. The more he thought about it, the angrier he got. Rage points plus 333. Originally, Zhou Zhongmao followed them and would occasionally appear in front of them. But in the end, Lin Fan came too. Lin Fan came as well. No matter where they went, he would follow. He had no intention of letting them go. Yuan Tianshu's face turned red. He was furious. That damn thing. He had nothing better to do. How did he end up being targeted by this thing? Or did he not look at the calendar before heading out? He definitely couldn't fight him. He couldn't beat him. What else could he do? He couldn't be more shameless than the other party. Lin Fan, you are too much. Yuan Tianshu's face was dark and sunken. Originally, only your cousin carried this disgusting pile of sh*t to disgust them. Now you joined in too. Lin Fan turned his head and asked curiously, Brother Yuan, what did I do to you? I'm looking for my cousin. What does that have to do with you? You *king. Zhou Zhongmao. Who are you looking for? Yuan Tianshu's chest rose up and down. I am looking for my cousin. Zhou Zhongmao said. The world was silent. Yuan Tianshu pursed his lips and took in a deep breath. He had to calm himself down, otherwise he would be angered to death by these two fellows. Are you guys really *king blind? They were right beside him, and they were talking about finding one another. Why didn't they go to the toilet to find *t? Go Z was helpless. Young Master really knew how to play. Young Master Yuan was so furious that steam was coming out of his head. Wang Yunfei sighed. If he was in Rong City, he would have been beaten to death. He provoked Yuan Tianshu several times, but that wasn't the main point. The main point was that he was here too. With such a disgusting thing facing them, it was a form of provocation. Young Master Lin, I am Rong City Wang family's Wang Yunfei. You all are a little too much. Wang Yunfei said. Since that was the case, he could only report his background to help Yuan Tianshu out of the situation. Yu City was far away, poor, and lacking in resources. He heard the older generation say that out of the 3 aristocratic families in Yu City, the Lin family was really strong and they shouldn't offend them. However, to him, so what if they were strong? They were restricted and couldn't develop much. So how strong could they be? Cousin, where are you? Lin Fan shouted. He didn't care at all and was just trying to brush him off. Cousin, where are you? Zhou Zhongmao and Lin Fan were at a loss. The two of them didn't bother about Wang Yunfei. Who is this? What did he come for? Chapter 72. Rage points plus 333 rage points plus 123. Both Chinese and foreign cultures were in harmony, and both styles blossomed. Look at this, he was really overbearing, giving him 2 sets of rage points right away. The lesser one was definitely Yuan Tianshu, and the greater one was definitely Wang Yunfei. To make the other party explode with the greatest anger was to ignore the other party. Making the other party feel that they were being looked down upon and that they were not being taken seriously was not a good feeling. As for offending people, wasn't that a joke? With the current situation, how many people had he offended? He had already offended 2 out of the 3 aristocratic families of Yu City. As for the other one, it was more or less the same. Anyway, his father had a huge problem with him. so he had offended half of them. As for bullying commoners, he would not do such a thing. If a man wanted to do something, he would do it with a strong man. "Cousin, where did you go?" Lin Fan searched. "Cousin, I'm here." Zhou Zhongmao waved his hand. The Yin demon on his back rubbed against Yuan Tianchu, scaring him so much that he wanted to curse out. Damn it. He was almost hit by that swaying thing. It was on purpose. It was definitely on purpose. Damn it. Lin Fan and Zhou Zhongmao completely ignored Wang Yunfei's existence. "Cousin, where did you go? I've been looking for you for half a day." Lin Fan said. Zhou Zhongmao was a little embarrassed. "Cousin, I didn't go anywhere. I got lost." From their words, it was clear that they didn't treat Yuan Tianchu and Wang Yunfei as normal people. They were treating them like blind people. "Young Master Lin, did you really not hear what I said to you?" Wang Yunfei's heart was filled with anger. Who was this blatant disregard for? As a young master of an aristocratic family, he naturally had his manners and wouldn't be easily angered. Lin Fan treated Wang Yunfei like air and continued to chat with his cousin like he didn't hear anything. Rage points plus 444. The increase in rage points shocked him. This person was really so overbearing to actually provide so much. Or was it because he was a stranger and this was the first time they met? So the rage points he provided were much higher? Wang Yunfei had never been ignored like this before. This was especially so when it came to face-to-face communication. The distance between the two parties was less than half a meter. Even if he was blind, he wouldn't be deaf. It was on purpose. It was definitely on purpose. Lin Fan and Zhou Zhongmao's acting was terrible. The difference was not just a little bit. However, such poor acting skills were enough to make anyone furious. Especially since he was the young master of an aristocratic family, his status was very high, and he was the kind of person that was the center of attention. Suddenly being neglected, it was natural that his mentality would collapse easily. But this one wasn't too bad. Even so, he endured it. However, it was hard to say how long he could endure it. "Young Master Wang, calm down. Let's ignore them," Yuan Tianchu said. He would not allow Wang Yunfei to have a conflict with Lin Fan. Based on the current situation, if a physical conflict really broke out, they would definitely be the unlucky ones. This guy's cousin was a humanoid monster, and his attacks were brutal. Wang Yunfei being beaten up had indeed provoked a conflict between the two families. But his Yuan family would have to say goodbye to the Wang family. After all, the Wang family's young master was beaten up in the Yuan family's territory. It didn't make sense at all. Wang Yunfei held back his anger. These words were originally said to Yuan Tianchu, but he didn't expect to be used on him in the end. "Damn bastard. Brother Yuan, are you passing by?" Lin Fan asked. Yuan Tianchu stared at Lin Fan as though he was about to swallow him whole. But that was not the main point. The main point was that he was really deaf. Young Master Wang spoke to him for so long, but he acted like he didn't hear anything. How amazing, how capable. "Young Master Lin, I'm talking to you." Wang Yunfei couldn't help but open his mouth. What a waste. Lin Fan and Zhou Zhongmao didn't care, blinking as they stared at Yuan Tianchu. As for Wang Yunfei, he was once again ignored. "You really didn't hear anyone talking to you?" Yuan Tianchu asked. He suddenly noticed that this fellow was a demon. Young Master Wang spoke to him till now, and even if he didn't want to bother, he should at least reply to prove that he heard it and just didn't want to reply. But what was his attitude now? Disregard. A clear disregard. Lin Fan smiled. "Isn't it just Brother Yuan talking to me? Why? Is there a problem?" Wang Yunfei's expression became uglier and uglier. Livid, livid. Yuan Tianchu saw that young Master Wang's expression was so ugly. If this continued, he might really faint. Without saying a word, he pulled young Master Wang and left. He didn't want to say another word to Lin Fan. Even one sentence felt like it was a waste of time. Wang Yunfei was pulled away by Yuan Tianchu. When he left, he turned his head and stared right at Lin Fan. Like he was saying, "He had guts. I will remember you. No one has ever dared to ignore me so blatantly. You son of a B***tch. Young master, are we going back now?" Go Z asked. He felt that the matter had ended. After all, Young master had played for so long, and it was enough. He made him so furious that he wanted to spit out blood. If he was young master, he would definitely stop and let it go. But regretfully, Gozi wasn't young master, so he couldn't understand how despicable young master's methods were. Just like that, killing the chicken to get the eggs. As for whether or not there would be more in the future, he didn't care. Why are we going back? Follow quickly. Lin Fan called, Cousin, don't forget what I told you. Keep an eye on them. Don't worry, cousin, Zhou Zhongmao replied. This matter was really despicable, so despicable that there was no end to it. But to him, he would do whatever cousin said. Don't ask so much, that was the plan. In the distance, young Master Wang calmed down. Yuan Tianchu consoled. Seeing that young Master Wang was so angry, he actually felt like he was causing trouble. He suddenly felt much better. In terms of being angry, young Master Wang was the angriest. The person they disregarded was like a transparent person. Calm down? Brother Yuan, how do you want to calm down? I really didn't expect the Yu City Lin family to be so arrogant. I'm standing in front of him, and he actually acted like he didn't see me. Is he disregarding me? Wang Yunfei was furious. Arrogant. Just too arrogant. If he was in Rong City, I would let him know what the outcome of disregarding me is. Facing young Master Wang's grumbling, Yuan Tianchu expressed his sympathy. Fanning the flames depended on the situation. If the Lin family was weak, they would definitely be diligent in fanning the flames. But now that the Lin family wasn't weak, there were some things that couldn't be messed up. Otherwise, they might end up hurting themselves. I know about Brother Wang's ability, but forget it. Don't lower yourself to his level. He is just trash who relies on his family, Yuan Tianchu said. Suddenly, a wind blew in front of him. Yuan Tianchu turned his head and was stunned. That thing appeared in front of him once more. Zhou Zhongmao's emotions were a little huge. The Yin Demon's fifth limb waved slightly like it was provoking them. There was a feeling that if you dare to bite, I will dare to shoot. P.S. Thank you, DRK Dino, 30,000 reward. P.S. Thank you, one move to bury the bill, 10,000 reward. Chapter 73. He was most afraid that the air would suddenly become silent. That was the case now. Yuan Tianchu and Wang Yunfei stood rooted to the spot, especially Yuan Tianchu, who was about to collapse. Are you a demon? Zhou Zhongmao listened to his cousin's arrangements. Anyway, he just stood in front of the two of them and followed them wherever they went. Even if Yuan Tianchu went to the toilet, he had to open the door and stand in front of him with his back facing him. Rage points plus 123. Yuan Tianchu was furious. He was purposely targeting him. He wanted to scold out, but suddenly his heart shook and he suppressed the urge. Lin Fan's actions were too weird. Why was he doing that? Or was there some unspeakable plot hidden within? He thought about it for a moment. He came back to his senses. If he didn't control himself and scolded Lin Fan and had conflicts with him, his cousin wouldn't sit still and not do anything. He would use violence to suppress the two of them. Wang Yunfei would definitely suffer. In the end, his Yuan family would be dragged into the center of this whirlpool, and it would be impossible for him to escape. With the Wang family's position, they definitely wouldn't sit still and not do anything. They would definitely fight the Lin family, and his Yuan family had to stand with the Wang family. However, the Yuan family was a Yu City aristocratic family. The three aristocratic families wouldn't allow outside powers to enter. If the Yuan family stood with the Wang family, naturally it would break the balance, so the Liang family would definitely fight against them. Thinking about it, it was terrifying. What a cruel method. Instantly, Yuan Tianchu broke out in a cold sweat and pulled Wang Yunfei away. Damn, he nearly fell for it. Lin Fan was totally confused. He saw that Yuan Tianchu's expression was really dark. He thought that he would be furious and shout out to give some rage points, but who knew that he would just pull the person and run? He didn't give him a chance at all. Was it so difficult to bully people now? Naturally, he would follow Yuan Tianchu wherever he went. Who knew that Yuan Tianchu would directly bring Wang Yunfei back to the Yuan manor and not go out to play, such that he didn't know where to start. Cousin, they went home. Zhou Mao said. He couldn't follow. When Yuan Tianchu returned, he specially told the guards that if the Lin family young master came, they had to stop him and not let him enter. Like he was saying, this young master is afraid of you, all right? Don't follow me. Sai's so boring. Lin Fan shook his head and sighed. He had finally found some fun, but it ended just like that. Yu City was still too small. There weren't many grand families. If there were more than 10 grand families, they could take turns coming here every day. Liang Yongji was definitely still resting at home. If he didn't rest for a period of time, he probably wouldn't be able to come out. Go home. Since he had nothing to do, he could only return home. The backyard of the Lin mansion. Lin Fan laid on the chair and ate fruits, occasionally looking at the Yin demon. The Yin demon was captured just 2 short days ago and was played like that. He was considered half a cripple, but he was still useful, so there was no need to throw him away for now. Looking at the data of the small support system, it was not bad. Physique, 120, martial path grade 4. Internal strength, 120, martial path grade 4. Mental cultivation, purple sun 4 sacred scripture, second heaven, cultivation technique, vengeful tiger blade technique, returning to true, bug controlling technique, basics, unmovable king body, unlearnt, lightning blade 4 strokes, mastery through comprehension, mixed energy broken jade hand, unlearnt, rage points, 5863. Relying on the small support system to add points, his cultivation speed was already really quick. He didn't even cultivate much, just adding points when he had nothing to do. He was really happy. Adding points. Internal strength rose all the way to 150. Martial path grade 5. Looking into his body. The internal strength in his body continued to strengthen, much stronger than before. He didn't care much about all this. He didn't want to cultivate and just wanted to be a rich family young master, eating and waiting to die. However, he was forced by others. If he didn't cultivate, he wouldn't be able to sleep peacefully at night. There were people who came to cause trouble every day. So what could he do? Adding points to the purple sun 4 sacred scripture. This heart cultivation technique was not bad. He felt that after cultivating it, his internal strength became more destructive. 1,000 rage points. Heart cultivation. Purple sun 4 sacred scripture. Third heaven. Grade 2 and grade 3 consumed the same rage points. Was this because it was hard to get started and easy to cultivate? The purple internal strength was much stronger. This was the special internal strength of the purple sun 4 sacred scripture. Cousin, why do I feel like you became stronger? Zhou Mao said. He had such a feeling. He noticed that a purple mist flashed across his brow, so he shouldn't have seen wrongly. Lin Fan smiled. No, I saw wrongly. Zhou Mao thought about it. That was impossible. He had seen it clearly. How'd he see wrongly? He shook his head. Since cousin said that he saw wrongly, then so be it. Yuan Manor. How was playing with young Master Wang? Old Master Yuan asked. Rome City Wang family young master came to Yu City, so naturally he had to play well. Some of the Yuan family's businesses had a close relationship with the Wang family. Rome City wasn't their territory, so they couldn't stretch their hands there. This was why they had to have a good relationship with the Wang family. The more Yuan Tianchu thought about it, the angrier he got. Father, let's not talk about it. I met that Lin family piece of trash who specially went against me. I could only come back early. When Lin Fan was mentioned, the Yuan and Liang families all had a headache. He was just like a dog. He would bite anyone he caught. Who knew what he did to him in the past? How much hatred did he have? Father, he is sick in the head. He let his cousin carry a person whose limbs were cut off and face us. He discussed me and young Master Wang every day. He pretty much follows us everywhere we go. Yuan Tianchu went on, completely making Lin Fan out to be a sinful villain. When old Master Yuan heard that, his expression became really ugly. This Lin family kid was so lawless, it was obvious that he didn't care about the Yuan family at all. Their Yuan family was entertaining such an important guest, and he came to cause trouble. If something really happened, who would be responsible? How is young Master Wang now? Old Master Yuan asked. He is in the back courtyard. I invited the daughters of some rich merchants to accompany young Master Wang to help him relax. Yuan Tianchu said. To some of the rich merchants in Yu City, when they found out that their daughters could accompany the Wang family young master, they were really excited. They felt that their luck had come. If their daughters could be liked by young Master Wang, they wouldn't ask to be the main wife, but as a concubine, they would be able to become a phoenix. It was true that the rich merchants were rich. However, they didn't have power. They looked really cool, but there was a high chance that they would be taken advantage of. It wasn't like there weren't cases of them getting fat and being cut off. However, to Yuan Tianchu, this young Master Wang was really perverted. 2 wasn't enough, and he wanted 5, 6, 7, 8. He was just lustful. One couldn't tell just from his face. One would think that he was a proper young master. Each time he went to the back courtyard to see young Master Wang, Yuan Tianchu would feel like he was in a brothel. His Yuan family suddenly became the biggest brothel in Yu City. Of course, Yuan Tianchu would hypnotize himself. His family wasn't a brothel. Chapter 74. Next day, Brother Yuan, I heard that Yu City has a brothel known as Hongxiu Pavilion. It is really famous. Wang Yunfei said. When he mentioned it, his brows danced and a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. One might know a person's face, but not their heart. Yuan Tianchu really didn't expect that Wang family young master would be so lustful. When they first met, he felt that as expected from Rome City Wang family young master. His aura and way of speaking were extraordinary. Normal people couldn't compare to him. But now, F*** off. Everything was F** king fake. When he first came, he wasn't familiar with them and could really hide. Later on, he didn't hide at all. On a certain night, Wang Yunfei sat in the back courtyard drinking and talking. The night was beautiful, but unfortunately, he didn't have a beauty to accompany him. What a pity. He said it so clearly, so why didn't he understand? Yuan Tianchu wanted to suck up to Wang Yunfei and immediately went to arrange it. He directly said that Rong City Wang family young master was in the Yuan manor and wanted to recite poems with the daughters of the merchants. There was no need to say anything more. Who knew how many merchants sent their daughters over right away? Brother Wang also knows about Hongxiu Pavilion? Yuan Tianchu asked. Huh, Wang Yunfei smiled. I just heard rumors. I heard that Hongxiu Pavilion's special technician created 36 cloud flipping stances and 72 overturning rain stances. Nowadays, all the brothels in the world offer services that are imitations and not authentic. But even if they are imitations, they still make countless men linger and forget to go home. They are addicted to the taste and can't stop even if they want to. When it came to this, Wang Yunfei was an expert. Yuan Tianchu was stunned. What was Brother Wang talking about? He didn't understand at all. 36 cloud flipping stances? 72 overturning rain stances? Were they already so F** king domineering? Usually, he wouldn't go to such brothels. The Yuan family's teachings were rather strict, and they forbade anyone from entering these places. This was to prevent them from ruining the family's reputation or coming back with some diseases that would harm the entire family. Brother Wang, if you're interested, then let's go, Yuan Tianchu said. He had no choice. Looking at young Master Wang, he obviously wanted to go. If he stopped him, he would probably offend him. That isn't good, right? Young Master Wang acted like he was in a tough spot. After all, he was someone with status. If he went to a brothel in broad daylight, it wouldn't look good. Yuan Tianchu complained. How despicable. He obviously wanted to go, but he pretended not to. It was obvious that he wanted someone to lead the way. There was no other way. He was the Wang family's young master. Brother Wang, what is wrong with that? No matter what, this is one of the specialties of Yu City. It isn't a bad place, just reciting poems, Yuan Tianchu said. Wang Yunfei smiled. Right. Brother Yuan is right. I was thinking too much. How could I think of such things when I'm just reciting poems? Yuan Tianchu sighed. What a hypocrite. The two of them walked towards Hongxiu Pavilion. Yuan Tianchu looked around warily, not because he was afraid of being seen, but because he was looking for that despicable Lin fan. But that's good. He hadn't found anything yet. In the dark, a figure sneakily watched Yuan Tianchu, following them to see where they were going. When he saw them enter the Hongxiu Pavilion, he hurriedly left. Hongxiu Pavilion. The girls stood in the attic, gorgeously dressed. Even though it was daytime, it could not resist their enthusiasm for work. That was their profession, to serve the customers. After the matter, when the customers said that their service was amazing, they would be delighted. That was recognition of their work. Wang Yunfei didn't have a paper fan, but for the sake of his aura, he bought one along the way. He had the special aura of a young master visiting a brothel. "Brother Yuan, what do you think of my aura?" Wang Yunfei asked. Yuan Tianchu thought about it. In his heart, he only wanted to say that he looked like a dog. However, he couldn't say that. If he did, he would offend him. "Brother Wang, with your temperament, I admit defeat. Those women from the Hongxiu Pavilion will definitely swarm over and swallow Brother Wang." Yuan Tianchu boasted. "Haha." Wang Yunfei laughed out loud. "Brother Yuan reminded me that I can't be too outstanding, otherwise, if I attract too much attention, people will be jealous of me. Damn, were the aristocratic family's young masters so shameless?" Young Master Yuan, I have waited for so long, and you are finally here." When the brothel keeper saw Yuan Tianchu, her eyes lit up. This was the Yuan family young master, a big landlord, a big customer. Yuan Tianchu coughed. "This is Rome City's young Master Wang. He heard that your Hongxiu Pavilion is special, so he came to take a look. You have to treat him well. If you don't, then Hongxiu Pavilion can close down." The brothel keeper had a muscular body and felt that she was really alluring. However, in the eyes of others, she would only affect their appetite. She wasn't a fool. Young Master Yuan made it so clear, so how could she not understand? His meaning was obvious. This young Master Wang was the guest. She called for the girls to come and take care of this young Master Wang. Wang Yunfei opened his fan and entered under the protection of the girls. The ladies of the Hongxiu Pavilion all knew that two big customers had arrived. All of them rushed forward, striving to outdo each other. The table that was filled with delicacies was squeezed by the girls until Wang Yunfei was about to disappear. "Madam, I heard that your specialty here is amazing. That Tong and I created 108 moves. Why don't you call him out and let me see what kind of person he is to have such knowledge?" Wang Yunfei drank and hugged the girls as he asked. Okay, young Master Wang, please wait." The brothel keeper was really attentive and went to call him out. Very quickly, "Here comes Tony." Which one is young Master Wang?" His voice was like a duck's voice. It was neither male nor female. His throat was so big, his cheekbones were so high, but there was a layer of red on it. Wang Yunfei took a look and nearly spat out the wine in his mouth. Go down, tell him to go down. Stop looking. Talented people can only live in the back." Wang Yunfei said. "Scoff." Miss Tony stuck out her thumb and middle finger and turned around coquettishly. She twisted her butt and pinched her scarf with her thumb and middle finger. She said coquettishly, "I don't want to see you yet." "Pooh, poison." Yuan Tianchu wiped the sweat off his forehead. He definitely wouldn't come here a second time. She was really poisonous. Wang Yunfei's mind wasn't on the dining table. He casually ate something and pointed at two girls, bringing them into the room. What he meant was for them to talk in the room. This place was too vulgar. "Young Master Yuan, who are you interested in?" the brothel keeper asked. Yuan Tianchu coughed. "No need. I will just sit here and wait." How could the brothel keeper let young Master Yuan sit there? If he didn't take the money, he would be struck by lightning. She eagerly introduced them. "Young Master Yuan, you definitely haven't come here before. Let me tell you, we have many services here. Luring the snake out of its hole, sweeping across the plains, water snake wrapping around the waist, playing the lute to a cow, music, chess, calligraphy, and painting, toppling mountains and overturning oceans, savoring life. There are many types, 108 of them. They all came from Tony's hands and are the best of the best." Yuan Tianchu was stunned when he heard that. He had never heard of that before. What was she talking about? These terms are a little poetic. Is a literary exchange? The brothel keeper smiled. Yes, it is a literary exchange. Yuan Tianchu kept silent for a moment. That's good. A literary exchange can improve one's own knowledge. Outside Hongxiu Pavilion, Lin Fan raised his head and looked. Scum. He actually came to such a place in broad daylight. Cousin, let's go through the back door. Listen to me. Let's teach him a lesson. Yes, cousin, Zhou Zhongmao replied. P.S. Thank you. Drk Dino, reward of 20,000. P.S. Thank you, Tyrant Dragon King Chao, Illusory Phantom. These two big shots will be rewarded greatly. Chapter 75. Lin Fan brought his cousin in from the back door. In broad daylight, when the sky was bright and the earth was clear, he actually dared to show off his treasured sword in broad daylight. This kind of behavior was really too vile. The Yin demon on Zhou Zhongmao's back was at a loss. Why did he bring me here? Why didn't he just kill me? He was tortured so badly that he didn't look human anymore. As a Yin demon, only he ate humans. No one had ever treated him like that before. Cousin, there's so many rooms, so how do we know which one? Zhou Zhongmao asked. Hongxiu Pavilion was the biggest brothel in Yu City and had many rooms. It was really tough to find the two of them. Don't rush. Listen carefully. Do you hear any special sounds? Lin Fan raised his hand and maintained silence. Zhou Zhongmao focused and listened carefully. Slowly, a sound spread into his ears. Cousin gave out a slightly rough and soul-stirring sound. Then there was another sound. Lin Fan looked at his cousin and rolled his eyes. Cousin, what are you doing? Cousin, I'm listening to the sound. Just now, a sound spread into my ears. Zhou Zhongmao said. Other people couldn't hear it, but his internal strength was deep and his ears were really sharp. Even if it was really soft, he could hear it clearly. What did the sound say? Lin Fan asked. Zhou Zhongmao listened carefully and then opened his mouth to learn from the sound that spread over. Lin Fan, enough, stop learning. Lin Fan immediately stopped his cousin from learning those sounds. Damn, he did it so quickly he nearly got hard. Let's go and find the source of the sound. The two of them were sneaky. No, they weren't sneaky, they were just doing it openly. This was just a brothel. It wasn't much. Within the room, Yuan Tianchu sat upright. His eyes were clear, and there were no changes at all. However, his Adam's apple that moved up and down betrayed him. In front of him, the brothel girls were dancing. Their dance postures were really alluring and varied. All sorts of seductive postures were done in a simple manner. This isn't the literary exchange that I wanted. Yuan Tianchu felt that his throat was dry. He wanted to drink water. It was just too alluring. He really didn't expect that when the brothel girls wore translucent clothes, they would have such charm. They were more charming than any girl he had seen before. At this moment, panting could be heard from the next room. Yuan Tianchu cursed in his heart. Oh my God, they're fighting just like that. What young Master Wang? He was simply a beast in human form. Young Master Yuan, come lie on the bed. I'll serve you. The lady from the brothel came to Yuan Tianchu's side. The fragrance from her body wafted out, and when her skin came into contact with Yuan Tianchu's, it instantly turned hard. I'm here for a literary exchange, Yuan Tianchu said. At this moment, he still wanted to play it safe. However, his body was very obedient. He followed the brothel lady's lead to the bedside. His heart skipped a beat, and his heart skipped a beat. The brothel girl smiled faintly. Young Master Yuan, are you here for a literary exchange? You can play the role of a great writer, and I can play the role of a pitiful woman who admires the young master. Yuan Tianchu was stunned. F***CK. It was actually possible to play like this. Why was he so enthusiastic? Above the roof, Lin Fan and Zhou Zhongmao wanted to break down the door, but thinking that it would cause too much of a commotion, they were afraid that they wouldn't be able to meet their expectations. Hence, they decided to start from the roof and teach them a lesson. He lifted a tile and saw the situation inside the room. It wasn't as unbearable as he expected. Yuan Tianchu raised his cup, raising his head and reciting an emotional poem. The brothel girl at the side had stars in her eyes. She rubbed her chin and revealed an infatuated expression. She then slowly got close to Yuan Tianchu. Young Master Yuan, you are so talented. This poem is too beautiful, and it makes my body feel hot. Only by getting close to you can I feel better. Yuan Tianchu wasn't moved. He pushed the girl lightly. Little miss, please behave yourself. Scenario mode. It made Yuan Tianchu feel a different feeling. At this moment, he turned into a scholar. As his talent was too outstanding, girls threw themselves at him, but he wasn't moved. He acted like a gentleman who wasn't moved by beauty. What is going on? Lin Fan looked for a moment, and it was different for what he expected. They agreed to visit a brothel. He started to build piles. How did this happen? He placed the tile back to its original position, and then quietly walked to another room with his cousin. He lifted the tile. The situation inside was just like what Lin Fan expected. 3 bodies intertwined with one another. Sounds spread out continuously. This was much more direct than Yuan Tianchu's side. He raised his spear and fought a bloody battle. The waves got louder and louder. It totally covered any small movement. Cousin, what should we do now? Zhou Mao asked. He felt that cousin's matter was a little complicated. Wang Yunfei was the Wang family young master, and naturally, his status wasn't low. If he wanted to play with him, there was no way back. At the same time, he made an enemy. Logically speaking, the smartest thing to do was to forget about it and not offend him too much. However, cousin's situation was that he had to deal with him. So how could he disappoint him? If he wasn't happy, then he would beat him up. As for what would happen, then he would think about it. Lin Fan thought about it and looked towards the Yin demon. The Yin demon was a little afraid from that gaze, like something bad was about to happen. He had no hope for people from the same race to save him. The Yin demons sensed the commotion in the East Forest. Someone went to the East Forest to start a massacre, and the Yin demons were terrified. They all had an emotional connection with one another. That night, he sensed the terror from numerous Yin demons like they had faced something really terrifying. Lin Fan shifted his gaze away from the Yin demon and continued to lift the tile. He probably wouldn't be able to stop causing trouble in Yu City. If he didn't, then he wouldn't get any rage points. At that moment, the Yin demon was stunned. What was he doing? Internal strength spread out from Lin Fan's body, forming threads that wrapped around the Yin demon. He then slowly placed it down from the roof. Wang Yunfei killed the brothel girls on the bed. The battle was really intense. Creaking sounds spread out from the wooden bed. It was about to shake. The Yin demon felt that things weren't right. Wang Yunfei was fully focused. There was a shadow in front of him, but he didn't care. He thought that it was another brothel girl playing tricks. He didn't say a word, holding the Yin demon's face and kissing it. The Yin demon was stunned. His eyes opened wide. What was going on? The humans weren't going to let the Yin demons off? A terrified voice exploded out. So, the brothel girl smeared something on her body to help young Master Wang. However, when she saw young Master Wang forcefully kiss the Yin demon, she panicked and shouted. Especially when she saw how vicious the Yin demon looked, she was so terrified that she fainted. Wang Yunfei was delighted. He thought that the brothel girl couldn't handle his strength and started to scream. However, why did he feel that the taste in his mouth was really bad? Also, why did his teeth feel like they pierced his tongue? He opened his eyes and took a look. He was instantly stunned. He exclaimed. His eyes rolled back and he fainted. The brothel girl who was pressed down by young Master Wang also screamed and fainted. On the roof, Lin Fan was stunned. This was different from what he thought. They all fainted. Who was going to give him rage points? Wake up. At least he had to know who did it before he fainted. Chapter 76. Cousin, he fainted. Zhou Mao said. I saw it. Lin Fan replied. The situation wasn't right. What should he do? He didn't do anything and just fainted right away. That was a little fake. Or was it that at that moment, one would collapse from fear? He hadn't experienced it before, so he wasn't sure. Cousin, then shouldn't we go back? Zhou Mao asked. Now that he fainted, There was definitely no way to play anymore. Lin Fan was a little reluctant to leave, but he had no choice. Since he fainted, what else could he do? Quang Dang. The door was pushed open. Yuan Tianchu charged in. He was having fun with the brothel girls next door, and he had a good feeling about it. However, the exclamations from the room next door were just too loud. He thought that young Master Wang was having too much fun, but suddenly the sound disappeared. He was worried and hurried over. Lin Fan, it is you. Yuan Tianchu saw Lin Fan right away, and he hollered in rage. Rage points plus 123. He was like a ghost. Wherever he went, he would bump into this fellow. Yes, it is me. Lin Fan slowly pulled the Yin demon up, pointing at the fainted Wang Yunfei. He fainted. Anyways, it has nothing to do with me. I will leave first. He then placed the tiles back and left. You are asking for trouble. Yuan Tianchu chided in rage. This fellow was asking to die, and no one could stop him. Looking at Wang Yunfei, who laid on the bed without moving, he was terrified. If something happened to Wang Yunfei here, it would be a huge problem. He took a look. He heaved a sigh of relief. Luckily, he was fine, he just fainted. However, that posture was really indecent. Even if he fainted, he didn't split apart. Young Master Yuan, what is going on? Young Master Wang is too strong. He made my little girl faint. The brothel keeper didn't know what happened. When she entered, she saw young Master Wang and the other girls fainting on the bed. She thought that it was too intense. She was really impressed. If she wasn't so old, she wanted to do something fun with young Master Wang. Get out! All of you get out! Yuan Tianchu waved his hands to tell them to scram. This had nothing to do with him. Wang Yunfei was the one who insisted on coming to the brothel. He had no one to blame but himself for being frightened. The brothels were a little afraid. As they left, they muttered, Young Master Yuan, please don't kill anyone. Yuan Tianchu glared at him. What the hell was he talking about? Then, he picked up the teapot on the table, took a mouthful of water, and spat it at Wang Yunfei. Wang Yunfei was startled awake. He looked left and right. What's going on? What happened to me? Young Master Wang, are you all right? Yuan Tianchu asked. I'm fine. Wang Yunfei waved his hand. I think I was frightened by something. I was almost scared to death. Do you know who did it? Yuan Tianchu wanted to say that Lin Fan was the main culprit. But suddenly, he felt something was wrong again. Why did Lin Fan keep finding trouble with him? Especially after young Master Wang came to U City, he came more frequently. The problem here was a little complicated. Where is this? This was a brothel, a place where his father hated the most. Based on what he knew, the Wang family was really strict. He heard that young Master Wang wanted to marry into a large family. If that family found out that Wang Yunfei was here, this matter would be ruined. Who was the one who brought them here? Although young Master Wang wanted to come, this was U City, the territory of the Yuan family. He was with young Master Wang, so he was the one responsible. The Wang family wouldn't let him off. His father wouldn't let him off. He thought about that. Yuan Tianchu broke out in a cold sweat. Evil. He really had evil intentions. Whoever said that Lin Fan was trash and brainless, Lin Fan would definitely have smashed his dog head into smithereens. Killing without seeing blood was just too terrifying. Lin Fan, you really are vicious. Although I, Yuan Tianchu, have conflicts with you, you can't set up such a well-hidden trap to deceive me into falling into a trap. Brother Yuan, I'm asking you a question. Do you know who did it? Wang Yunfei asked. I don't know, but don't worry, Brother Wang. I will give you an explanation. Yuan Tianchu said. Wang Yunfei thought about it. I feel like I've seen that thing before. It seems like that thing that cousin of young Master Lin carries on his back. Yuan Tianchu was astonished. It seemed like Lin Fan did it on purpose to let young Master Wang see the truth. He had many methods, and it was tough to defend against. Impossible, Brother Wang, you must have seen wrongly. Based on what I know, it is still early, and Lin Fan is still sleeping at home. How did he come here? Yuan Tianchu said. He had a clear Lin Fan's name. He definitely couldn't fall for it. Wang Yunfei nodded his head in deep thought. His head hurt, and after being frightened like that, he lost all interest. Yuan Manor. After Yuan Tianchu settled Wang Yunfei down, he went to find his father. Father, recently, I have met with some problems. Lin Fan from the Lin family is purposely setting a trap for me. He wants to drag me and Wang Yunfei down with him. Other people say that Lin Fan is trash and stupid, but to me, he is smart and cunning. If I am not careful, I will be doomed. Yuan Tianchu's heart was filled with fear. He had to tell his father about this and tell him to be careful. Compared to Lin Wani, Lin Fan was much more terrifying. Old Master Yuan found it weird. He didn't expect his second son to give Lin Fan such a high evaluation. His brain must have gone haywire. However, there was nothing he could do. During this period of time, Yuan Tianchu went through many things, and he was surrounded by danger. He had to deal with whatever came his way, and before the schemes were revealed, he decisively cleared himself. Now, his evaluation of Lin Fan was really high. Each time, he realized it. Luckily, he came in a rush, otherwise, the outcome would have been catastrophic. You can leave first. Old Master Yuan waved his hands. He didn't really believe his son's words. Lin family Lin Wani was a brute, and he didn't study. His son wasn't much better, doing nothing all day. Now, you're telling me that Lin Fan is smart and cunning, and he has many methods. Who would believe you? Yuan Tianchu wanted to say something. Seeing that his father didn't believe him, he felt really helpless. At the same time, he felt fortunate that he came to his senses quickly. In the past, when those things happened, he didn't think so much and just fought Lin Fan head-on. Now that he thought about it, he had probably sunk deep into it. Qin family village was originally controlled by the Yuan family, but now it broke away from them and belonged to the Lin family. It didn't seem like much. However, thinking about it, Qin family village was the property of the Yuan family, but it was taken away by the Lin family without even using a single soldier. Terrifying, really terrifying. Yuan Tianchu's heart was beating really quickly. Who knew that from a long time ago, Lin Fan had been planning to draw them in, but he didn't know about it. If Lin Fan knew about all this, his mind would be filled with questions. Was this young master really so resourceful? Why didn't I see it myself? P.S. Thank you, DRK Dino. Elder has become the alliance leader. Thank you, thank you. P.S. Thank you, Lord Rushu. Elder rewards you 20,000. Chapter 77. Lin Manor. Young Master. Old Master is calling you over. When he returned, Old Wu walked over from afar. When he saw the Yin demon on Zhou Zhongmao's back, although he didn't have any expression, his heart was shocked. Why is my father calling me? Lin Fan was curious and felt like it wasn't anything good. It was broad daylight, and he didn't cause any trouble recently. Logically speaking, his father wouldn't come to find him. I know, Lin Fan replied. Who cares what it was? He would just head over and find out. Reading room. Old Wu followed beside him. Young Master, Old Master is going to tell you something important. Don't make him angry. Before entering, Old Wu specially instructed Young Master. These words confused Lin Fan, and he felt like something bad was going to happen. Father, why are you looking for me? Lin Fan asked. Lin Wani sat there and read. He placed the book down and said solemnly, Fanner, you aren't young anymore. The Lin family still needs you to pass down a legacy. I have found a marriage for you. Rome City Lee family Little Miss is a good person and is well educated. She is a good match for our Lin family and is a good match for you. The meaning was just so simple. He wanted to find a wife for him. Father, I am still young. Lin Fan was shocked. What a joke. He actually wanted to find a wife for him. He rejected that. How terrifying was the grave of marriage? How could he not know? That would cost one's life. Being a rich family young master and doing whatever he wanted, he was as happy as a god. He didn't want to suffer. Lin Wani squinted. His gaze was a little terrifying. What did you say? His tone was a little off. Like he was saying that if he dared to resist, he was finished. Old Wu persuaded. Young master, I have seen it. That Lee family Little Miss is not bad. She is beautiful and has a good personality. It was true that she was beautiful. However, her personality It was hard to say. Old Wu, this has nothing to do with whether she is beautiful or not. I am not such a shallow person. Father, you have to be willing in life. A forced transaction won't lead to happiness. You can't push your only son into the fire pit. Lin Fan cried out in pain. Heavens! Earth! Why did something like this happen? Wasn't he living a good life, normally? Lin Wanni's smile revealed the charm of a mother of asterisk cur. Pushing a fire pit, no one knew who was pushing who. But there was no other way. He had to find a marriage for this unfilial son. The Li family of Chengdu was not bad. He was very satisfied. As for whether it was consensual or not, it didn't matter. As long as you sent me a grandson, everything else was up to you. Okay, don't say useless things to me. This is settled. Even if you don't agree, you have to agree. Otherwise, don't even think about going out. You have to stay at home all day. Lin Wanni gave an ultimatum. He didn't even give Lin Fan a chance to resist. Dad, Lin Fan still wanted to fight. What was going on? Why did such a thing happen? What young miss of the Li family? He didn't need any of that. What he wanted was freedom. He wanted to soar in life. Get out. Lin Wanni waved his hands and told the unfilial kid to scram. This matter couldn't be rejected, so it was decided. No matter what, I won't agree to it. If you want to marry her, you can marry her yourself. Even if you beat me to death, I won't agree to it. Lin Fan grumbled and left the study room. Rage points plus 111. Lin Wanni was furious. This unfilial kid actually dared to resist him. Wasn't he just asking to die? Old master, it is normal for young master to resist. Once he meets the Li family young miss, maybe he will change his mind. Old Wu said. Lin Wanni was so furious that he didn't want to say anything. This unfilial kid is so infuriating. How can I harm him? Old Wu smiled bitterly. Old master was right. He didn't harm young master, but it was for his own good. Back courtyard. Young master, why are you so unhappy? Go Zi saw his solemn expression and felt like something had happened. Haze. Lin Fan sighed. What do you think he's thinking? My father actually wants to find a marriage partner for me. What Li family's missy? Isn't he just pushing me into a pit of fire? Go Zi didn't say anything. He felt that old master was right. Young master had reached the age to start a family. If it was another family's young master, he would have kids at this age. Even if he didn't, he would have many concubines. However, his young master didn't have any. How pitiful. Young master wasn't anxious. He was really anxious. Go Zi, isn't this a little too rushed? Lin Fan asked. Go Zi was stunned. Young master, how was he supposed to reply? However, he could only reply. Young master is right. After getting Go Zi's approval, Lin Fan felt a little better. That's right. Since even Go Zi felt that he was right, then it definitely wouldn't be wrong. He had to deal with it when it came. There was no way out of this matter, so he could only find a chance. If he had balls, then come to the Lin Manor. See how I'll let you know what true terror was. Wooly family, that was all fake. Since he had nothing to do, he started to tease the Een demon. What was regretful was that this Een demon didn't provide any rage points at all. It was like he was numb and even filled with despair. Teen demons, everyone said that they were terrifying. As long as they faced them, they would basically lose half of their life. But now, he understood. Some people were even more terrifying than Een demons. He was tortured to the point that he was about to collapse. He was already thinking about dying. Kill me. He really didn't want to live anymore. Lin Fan wanted to deal with the Een demon. This thing wasn't a good thing. No matter what, it was the main culprit for killing the Wang family villagers. It was the property of the Lin family, so how could he allow others to damage it? Cousin, throw him into the oil pot and let him die with dignity. Lin Fan waved his hands. Since he was useless, then he would deal with him. It was just so boring to keep him by his side. Okay, cousin. Zhou Zhongmao grabbed the Een demon and walked towards the oil pot. Zhou Zhongmao might seem honest, but in Lin Fan's eyes, his cousin was really cruel. To him, everything was like a normal thing. To outsiders, his cousin was a terrifying existence. He was about to face such a terrifying death journey. So the Een demon should have been terrified. However, the Een demon's face was filled with relief. Like he had waited for a long time and had finally waited for this moment. He hoped that in his next life, he wouldn't fall into the hands of this human. Too terrifying. He couldn't take the pressure in his heart. It didn't matter if his limbs were sliced off. After all, they often dug out their hearts, sucked their blood, and cruelly killed humans. However, humans targeted them, and their innocence was ruined. That was something that had never happened before. That kiss would forever be remembered in his heart. He even used his soul ripple to spread out the situation of this human, to tell his fellow race members to be careful. Humans would have an abnormal tendency towards demons. They had to protect their innocence and not let it be tainted. ZZ, the sound of oil exploding spread out. Zhou Zhongmao tossed the demon in. There were no screams at all. Everything exploded out in a rush. Cousin who witnessed all of this didn't have any fluctuations in his heart. He even felt like he was letting him off easy. How cruel. P.S. Seeking recommendation votes. Happy New Year. Seeking recommendation votes. Chapter 78. The demon left. He left really peacefully and comfortably. He didn't shout and didn't struggle. The demon was just a passerby in Lin Fan's life. He had already done what he needed to do, adding bricks and tiles to his path, so this trip was worth it. To Lin Fan, his current life wasn't right. He was under a lot of pressure. The rich family young master life he had in his heart was being obstructed all around. That feeling was really bad. Yuan Manor. Wang Yunfei sat on the bed. His expression was really unnatural. His fingers touched his brother. What happened? What is going on? He was really afraid now. After returning, he didn't feel anything wrong. However, he felt that his body was a little uncomfortable. That part seemed a little lazy. It should have been eternal, but now it just hung there without moving. That situation was just too terrifying. Wang Yunfei consoled himself. Maybe it was because he was frightened, which was why there was a temporary problem. Xiao, there was movement from outside. Young master, old master is summoning you back. Wang Yunfei found it weird. He was going back so quickly. He hadn't come to U City for a long time, but it was actually so quick. Understood. He came to U City to enjoy himself. Although the process wasn't so beautiful, this poor U City was still worth seeing. That Hongsho pavilion was really not bad. He touched his brother, and there was no reaction, so he didn't care much about it. It was time to pack up and head back to the manor. The Wang family was really complicated, formed by several factions. He was just one of the stronger ones, but he still couldn't be careless. Marrying into a big family would be really beneficial to him. Although he didn't care about that daughter, for the future, some sacrifices were necessary. As long as he got everything he wanted, no one would be able to suppress him. Rome City, Li family. A white-headed eagle flew in the air and then dove down towards a rich aristocratic family courtyard. It gave out a sharp cry and attracted the attention of many people. The Li family had walked out from the hall and looked at the white-headed eagle in the air. He frowned solemnly. This was a message item from the U City Lin family. He raised his hand and the white-headed eagle landed. Its claws landed on Old Master Li's arm. There was a bamboo tube on its claws, and within was the Lin family token. He took out the token and looked at the contents. Instantly, Old Master Li's expression changed. The contents of the book surprised him. Lin Wani wants to get married. Of course. Regarding this matter, his first thought was not to refuse, but to consider the pros and cons. The children of aristocratic families naturally had to rely on marriage alliances to stabilize their family strength. The marriage of his eldest daughter, Li Zhixiu, was naturally decided by him. Although U City was a broken city, the Lin family's influence wasn't weak, and they were a good match. There is such a thing. I can't be picky about it. Old Masterly muttered. Others might not know his daughter's situation, but how could he not know? Although she was beautiful, she liked to play with knives and spears, and her temper was very bad. In the past, it wasn't that there weren't young masters from rich families who came to propose marriage, but they were all scared ***. His daughter wanted to compete with him in martial arts, but with a sweep of her spear, she almost turned him into a eunuch. From then on, no one dared to propose marriage. A few years had passed. If he didn't have a marriage, there would be gossip. In the backyard, little miss, not good. A maid hurried over. Li Jixio held a spear and cultivated her family's martial arts. She turned around and struck. A light exploded out from the spear and headed right for the maid. With a buzz, the spear stopped, and it was just a finger away from the maid's face. The maid screamed and fell to the ground. Sulan, what happened? Li Jixio retracted her spear and asked. Sulan heaved a sigh of relief. She was nearly frightened to death by Little Miss. Little Miss, I just learned that the Yu City Lin family came to propose marriage. Li Jixio was really beautiful. She trained for many years, and her body was covered by her clothes. She gave off a heroic aura. Propose marriage? There are people who don't know their place and dare to come to propose marriage. Li Jixio said. Sulan nodded her head. Yeah, it is the Yu City Lin family. I heard people say that the Lin family young master is trash and has a weak personality. He never cultivates and is just a playboy. If old master agrees, wouldn't he be pushing Little Miss into a fire pit? My father agreed. Li Jixio asked. Sulan wasn't too sure. I don't know, but looking at old master, he doesn't seem to have any intention to reject. Li Jixio's wrist moved, and the spear left her hand. With a quang dang, it landed right in the middle of the weapon rack. I agree. Sulan opened her mouth. Little Miss, why did you agree? Li Jixio had her own thoughts. As the daughter of a rich family, she wouldn't decide her own marriage. Over these few years, with her reputation, no one dared to propose. But that didn't mean that she didn't need to marry in the future. Since she couldn't confirm who she would marry in the future, why not choose a weak one? She could also control her own future and not be disturbed. Not cultivating and having a weak personality was good. If she wasn't happy, she would beat her up. Even if she fought back, she definitely wouldn't be able to beat her. To her, the Yu City Lin family was the best choice. Daughter, old Masterly walked over. Li Jixio didn't say any nonsense. Father, I agree to this marriage. When old Masterly heard this, he didn't have much of a reaction. It was like he saw through his daughter's thoughts. Why not take a look? There's no need. As long as he isn't extremely ugly, I will agree to this marriage. Li Jixio said. If this Lin family young master was too ugly and one look made her want to vomit, then naturally she wouldn't agree. Daughter, you have to think about it. If you agree, I will write a letter back. Old Masterly said. Li Jixio shook her head. Father, there is no need to reply. I will personally bring gifts over. If that Lin family young master is too ugly, I will bring gifts back. If not, I will stay in Yu City Lin Manor. Such a domineering reply. Even if old Masterly was used to his daughter's personality, he was so shocked that he couldn't say a word. That was too casual. She didn't wait for him to come to the Leaf family to propose, instead bringing gifts to Yu City Lin family. Why did it feel a little off? Little Miss, what about me? Sulan was worried and thought that Little Miss wouldn't bring her along. You definitely have to follow me. I am not used to others serving me. Li Jixio said. A smile appeared on Sulan's face. It was okay as long as she didn't separate from Little Mississippi. Old Masterly felt that his daughter couldn't wait to leave the Leaf family. That wasn't a good sign. A daughter that was married out was like water that was spilled out. If his daughter caused trouble in the Lin family and the Lin family broke off the marriage, then that would be a little embarrassing. Old Master Li regretted letting this brat train in the past. He thought that with a skill, she wouldn't be bullied in the future. Who knew that so many years passed? He actually raised such a daughter. What a mistake. P.S. Thank you, DRK Dino, Kanyang's teen. The two elders will reward you. P.S. Happy New Year, everyone. No red packets, no red packets, just recommendation tickets. How cheap is that? Chapter 79. Young Master Wang received news from his family that he was leaving Yu City. Naturally, he was reluctant. Hongsho Pavilion's 108 styles didn't even end. That was because it was filled with too many temptations. He held his spear and went into battle, but he was frightened halfway. The repercussions came, and he fell to the ground. Let's not talk about it. If he said too much, it would just be tears. Yuan Tianchu sent him off, squeezing out 2 drops of tears with much difficulty. He acted like his good friend was leaving and felt sad. Brother Wang, in a short few days, we have built a deep friendship. Although I am reluctant, your life dream is so far away. I look forward to the day we meet again. People who like to talk about literature all spoke really well. Wang Yunfei teared up and grabbed Yuan Tianchu's hand. Brother Yuan, I am leaving. Have a safe trip. Yuan Tianchu said solemnly. The two of them appreciated each other. People who didn't know about the situation would really think that the two of them had a deep relationship. Only when Wang Yunfei left did Yuan Tianchu's expression turn solemn. Naturally, he had a reason for being so close to Wang Yunfei. Young Master Wang has left. Manager Liu said. Yuan Tianchu nodded his head. Manager Liu, have you paid attention to the things I told you to pay attention to? He didn't care much about the Lin family taking in the villages that the Yuan and Liang families didn't want. However, since he understood that Lin Fan was a smart person, he told Manager Liu to pay attention to the situation of the few villages. Although he didn't know what he meant, as long as he learned, even if he suffered losses, he wouldn't suffer too much. Steward Liu pondered for a moment and said, Young Master, during this period of time, I've noticed that the villagers in these villages are very motivated. There's a huge change compared to the past. If they used to use 50% of their strength in farming, then they're using 10% now. As expected, Yuan Tianchu understood once more. Why would such a smart person do something he wasn't confident in? So he had a plan. Follow my instructions and find some refugees to build another village. Follow Lin Fan's instructions. Yuan Tianchu naturally knew how sick it was to reduce taxes for the villages. However, since Lin Fan did that, naturally he had his reasons. Even if they were unwilling, as long as they followed him, they wouldn't suffer too much. Yes, young master. Even though Steward Liu didn't understand why the young master wanted to do this, he still listened to the young master's instructions. Yuan Tianchu turned around with a serious expression on his face. Lin Fan, I, Yuan Tianchu, am willing to call you the smartest person in the world. Although I don't know what you mean by this, I will learn from you. Even if I can't earn a lot, at least I won't lose out. That was what he was thinking now. He really couldn't understand what Lin Fan was doing. He was just harming himself to benefit others. What else could he gain by lowering the agricultural taxes to such an extent? What a waste of good farmland for those lowly commoners. But even so, he still had to follow her. After all these things, he finally understood that Lin Fan was not an ordinary person. Everything he did contained some kind of great benefit. But it wasn't going to be easy. He needed to go back and comfort his father. Although it wasn't a big deal, it wasn't a small matter either. If his father didn't understand, he would definitely be disappointed. So he had to comfort him. 1 week later, Lin Fan had nothing to do all day. He truly felt how carefree the young masters of rich families were. Even that assassin suddenly disappeared like he had evaporated from the world and didn't find trouble with him. If it was in the past, he would have thought that he had reached the peak of his life. But he knew that it was impossible. The assassin was definitely tired and was preparing for a huge wave. He walked around the city. He wanted to find some rage points. But what made him feel despair was that there was nothing at all. Yuan Tianchu seemed to have disappeared. He couldn't even see his shadow. Then he found out that Yuan Tianchu was learning from him to reduce agricultural taxes, to give his farmland to the refugees, to build new villages in the city. To him, this was a good thing, so he didn't purposely find trouble with him over this. No matter if he succeeded or not, the ones who were unlucky were the refugees. Giving them a way out was the best start. That day, a carriage drove into U City. The carriage wasn't luxurious, but it was tightly guarded. There was a huge box tied at the back. Everyone who passed would take a look. Although U City was a city, there were very few people who rode carriages. Sualan followed the carriage and looked at the environment. She frowned and said softly, "Little miss, we have arrived at U City, but the environment here is so broken. It can't be compared to Rome's city at all. Their roads are all mud, and if it rains, it will be tough to walk. Let's head to the Lin family first. Li Jixio's voice spread out from within. People who didn't know the situation would think that Li Jixio was anxious to marry her off. But her intentions were clear, which was to take a look at the Lin family young master. If he was really ugly, then she would turn around and leave. Even if she was casual, she wouldn't marry her off so easily. Suelon despised Yu City. It was really broken and couldn't be compared to Rong City. It wasn't that she despised it, but to her, her little miss was so outstanding. So how could she marry to such a poor place? She had to marry someone from a rich family. She felt pity for her little Mississippi Lin manor. 2 imperial bodyguards stood straight and did not move an inch. They were both trained people and were not comparable to the imperial bodyguards of the Yuan and Liang clans. If they were to fight, they could beat up a group of people and still be fine. They saw the family emblem on the carriage and knew that it was the symbol of an aristocratic family. Li Jixio opened the curtain and got off the carriage. The guards were shocked. What a beautiful woman, but she didn't give off a weak feeling. Instead, she gave off a feeling like she had cultivated for a long time. May I ask who you are looking for? The guard asked. Suelon wanted to reply for Little Miss, but Little Miss spoke up directly. Rong City Li family. When the guard heard this, he understood what was going on. Old Master proposing for young Master wasn't a secret, and many people knew about it. He welcomed the Li family Little Miss in and then informed Old Master. However, to them, this was a little crazy. It was just a marriage proposal, and before it was confirmed, the Li family Little Miss charged over like she couldn't wait. Was their young master really so charming? She didn't even have a chance to resist. Lin Wani was reading in the reading room. When he learned that the Li family Little Miss personally came, his expression changed, and then he was delighted. That was great. She personally came. He was simply a little impatient. Little brother Wu, go and call that brat over. Tell him to dress me well and don't give me those useless things. If he messes around, I'll skin him alive. Lin Wani was really anxious, but he knew that the unfilial kid was against matchmaking. If he casually came out and gave her a bad impression, then wouldn't the matter be ruined? Chapter 80. In the backyard. Lin Fan was living a life that normal people couldn't enjoy. Lying there, he ate the fruit leisurely. Go Zi squatted at the side and waved his fan. During this period of time, he noticed that young Master was really bored and wasn't used to his current life. Young Master. Old Wu walked over and saw that young Master was still lying there. Old Master wants you to tidy up and meet someone. Lin Fan laid comfortably and asked curiously, who? Whenever a big shot came to the Lin family, he would have to go out and meet him in person. The weather now was really hot. He laid down comfortably and ate iced fruits while Go Zi fanned himself. Those days were so comfortable, and he didn't want to move at all. Miss Li of Rong City is here. Old Wu said, Young Master, listen to this old man. Pack up and go, otherwise Old Master will be angry. Lin Fan was very against this marriage. Damn, was this the demon that the children of rich families could never escape from? To this, he didn't believe it. Elder Wu, just say it. Is my father too anxious? I'm still young. Lin Fan said. Old Wu calmly looked at his young master. Are you joking with this old man? Small? He really couldn't tell. Young master, old master has instructed you to pack up and head over. Don't make him angry. Whether or not you can succeed is a problem, but you can't throw the Lin family's face. Old Wu said. He actually hoped that it would work out. The young master wasn't young anymore. Having a descendant would allow the old master and him to be at ease. Even if he were to die one day, he would have no regrets. Lin Fan pondered. Whether he could grasp it or not would depend on this. Risks and benefits coexisted. Old Wu, if I were to suddenly run away, do you think the consequences would be severe? Lin Fan asked. Young master, it's best not to have such thoughts. The consequences are hard to predict. Old master's temper is also very bad. Moreover, old master places great importance on this matter. If young master really does this, in the future, Old Wu shook his head and sighed. He did not finish his sentence. It was to leave some suspense for the young master, to leave some thoughts. For the young master to ask like this. This meant that he wasn't wrong. The young master was still the young master and hadn't changed. It had already come to this. He actually had such unrealistic thoughts. Lin Fan was helpless. It seemed like he couldn't run anymore. After being scared by old Wu, he didn't dare to run anymore. Preliminary estimation. If he ran, he wouldn't earn much rage points. At most, it would be one wave. What if he ran at the same time? Could he not come back? I got it, Lin Fan replied. Gozi was really curious. He didn't know what young master's partner looked like. Old Wu nodded and left. Gozi, prepare to meet this woman, Lin Fan said. He was really impressed. He didn't think that they would just kill their way to their doorstep. They hadn't even agreed to the marriage yet. Could they not be so anxious? She definitely wouldn't be able to get married. If she could really get married, she wouldn't be in such a hurry. Inside the mansion, Lin Wani personally received Li Jixio and looked at her from start to finish. He was very satisfied with this future daughter-in-law. A rare smile appeared on his face. Cui Lan stood behind the young miss and didn't make any strange movements. Even if she felt uncomfortable, she couldn't show it. The current situation wasn't something a maid like her could do. Moreover, she did not have any dissatisfaction with the Lin family. The Lin family head was very polite and friendly to her young miss. The Lin family's environment was not bad. If the young miss really agreed, she felt that it was not bad. She wouldn't let the young miss suffer. Niece, your father and I have been friends for decades. We even joked that we would become in-laws in the future. Who knew that our joke would become true? Lin Wani smiled. Of course, he was just bragging. When did he say such things to old Master Li? It was already a good thing that they didn't have any conflicts in the past. Saying all this now was just bragging. Uncle, my father often tells me about your past. Li Jixio said. Huh? Lin Wani smiled. Good, very good. If my kid is good enough, then I will have to change the way I address him. He was really satisfied with this future daughter-in-law. Her cultivation wasn't bad. She was also really beautiful. As for her temper, that wasn't a problem. If she wasn't, how could she suppress that unfilial kid? He didn't think about finding a wife who was willing to submit. What was the point of finding one like that? Father, I am here. At that moment, Lin Fan's voice spread in from outside. Everyone in the room turned their eyes towards the door. Lin Wani had an urge to smash that unfilial kid's head. He felt that his tone was a little casual. If he really blew this matter up, he would beat him to death. Rage points plus 123. Lin Fan was shocked. Rage points came. What was going on? He didn't offend anyone, right? Forget it. Having rage points was a good thing. As for this marriage that came too abruptly, he rejected it. He definitely wouldn't push himself into a fire pit. Not bad, Suelan muttered. When she saw the Lin family young master, she naturally stared at his face. What made her unhappy was that the Lin family young master was holding something in his hands. He ate as he walked, like he didn't care about this matter at all. Rage points plus 12. Lin Wani squinted, his face turned cold. If not for little Miss Li being here, he would have scolded him. He was dressed quite well. He didn't embarrass himself. Lin Fan held a porcelain bowl with fruits in it. He tossed one into his mouth. Father, why did you find me? Fan, you are here. This is little Miss Li. Lin Wani smiled and said. He even called him Fan. It was a little terrifying. Li Jixio sat there expressionlessly. When Lin Fan sized her up, she was also sizing him up. He did look like what Suelan said, a playboy. Being a playboy wasn't a problem. What she was looking for was a good-for-nothing rich kid, the kind with no great ambitions. If he was trash, then naturally it would be better. Lin Fan squinted and sized up Li Jixio. She was beautiful, but was he a guy that could be seduced just because she was beautiful? That was impossible. Oh, little Miss Li, hello. Do you want a banana? Lin Fan took out a banana from the plate. Lin Wani's fingers shook. Unfilial kid. Are you a demon? This was the first time they met. He just told her this. Rage points plus 233. Lin Fan found it weird. What was going on? Why did he get rage points again? Didn't he just treat her to a banana? Why was he angry? He wasn't prepared to fight her here. No matter how strong the battle was, he would be the unlucky one. Li Zhixio's thoughts were simple. She could confirm that the rumors were true. The Lin family young master was indeed trash. However, it was good that one had to make their own decisions in life. Niece, my son, Lin Wani wanted to explain, but Li Zhixio didn't give him a chance. Instead, one sentence shocked him so much that he sat there. Uncle, I agree, Li Zhixio said. Lin Wani was stunned. What did you say? Father. Li Zhixio got up and cowed out. Lin Fan was stunned. That was just too quick. Even the way she called him changed. Lin Wani couldn't sit still. He stood up straight. Surprise flashed in his eyes. He hurried forwards. Xiao quickly get up. This surprise came too quickly. Even he couldn't adapt to it. Lin Fan looked at Li Zhixio in shock. She was an expert who planned everything. The first time they met, in just 3 sentences, she changed from uncle to father. She didn't give him a chance to fight back at all. Even if he didn't agree now, it would be useless. He might even get beaten up by his father on the spot. P.S. Thank you. If you didn't exist, I will reward you. P.S. Happy New Year, everyone. Hee, I don't want red packets, just recommendation tickets. Give me some. Chapter 81. Too quick. Things happened too quickly. It was so quick that no one could react. Lin Fan felt like he had met his match. Looking at father's expression, he was delighted. If he knocked into a gun, the outcome would be catastrophic. Even if he needed rage points, that would depend on the situation. Not only was Lin Fan shocked, but even Suolan was stunned by her little miss's actions. She didn't expect little miss to be so proactive and decide on a marriage. Xiao, we are a family. Does your father know? Lin Wani asked. He really wanted his unfilial son to marry her to wipe away all the hope in his heart. Li Zhixio said calmly. Father has agreed. Good, that's good. I think we should choose a good date to settle this matter. This wedding has to be beautiful. The grander the better. Lin Wani smiled and didn't ask for Lin Fan's opinion at all. Lin Fan shouted in his heart. Father, no matter what, you have to ask for my opinion, okay? Ask whether or not I agree. It wasn't good to make the decision like that, right? He looked towards Gozi, and Gozi gave him a helpless gaze. How is this something that a servant like him could control? If he dared to say anything, old master would beat him to death. He had no choice. Lin Fan couldn't sit still and wait for death. He could only attack. However, his tone was polite, and he didn't dare to go head-on. Father, don't you think this is a little weird? I don't know her, and just decided on such a huge matter. Isn't this too casual? There was a plot. There was definitely a plot. This girl's tricks were a little deep, and she seemed really eager. He wasn't a narcissistic person. Although he was good in all aspects, he wasn't someone who would jump in her arms just because they weren't familiar with each other. It's the orders of my parents and the words of the matchmaker. Father came to the Li family to propose marriage, and my parents already agreed. Li Zhixio said. She called him father really well. If one didn't know the situation, they would have thought that Li Zhixio was from the Lin family and not the Li family. Good, that's good. Xiao is now my daughter-in-law. Lin Wani smiled and then squinted at Lin Fan. His gaze was really sharp, like he was saying that if he dared to blow this up, he would break his legs. Lin Fan was on the verge of collapsing. He had lost this battle too quickly and was unable to fight back at all. The key was that his father was on the other side, so the other side had the initiative. What could he use to fight against them? He was already at a disadvantage from the very beginning. His father's thoughts were very clear. He wanted him to get married. Now that a daughter-in-law had come knocking on his door, how could he let her go? Xiao, when you want to get married? Lin Wani asked. Everything will be decided by father. Li Zhixio said. She didn't want to ask about these things. After the wedding, everything would be settled and her goal would be achieved. Lin Wani's smile widened. He had never been so happy before. Sensible, truly sensible. He was increasingly satisfied with Li Zhixio, who was about to become his daughter-in-law. Old master, why not let young master and Miss Li have a good chat? We can also look at the date and prepare. Old Wu said. He was afraid that the young master wouldn't be able to suppress it and start a battle. At that time, he wouldn't be fighting alone. Lin Wani nodded and then instructed, Fan or have a good chat with Xiao Er. He then said softly into his ear, Don't give me all those useless things. If you dare to mess around, you are dead. Threat, a blatant threat. Oh my God, what was so good about this girl? She actually made his father so happy, totally roping him in, making him so weak that he couldn't go up against the rest. Lin Wani and Old Wu left the living room. Especially his father. His footsteps became more and more ethereal. Li Jixio was really calm, and her gaze towards Lin Fan didn't waver at all. Miss Li amazing. Lin Fan raised a thumb. She was really vicious and decisive. Normal people wouldn't be able to do that. But her actions were so natural and smooth. Normal people wouldn't be able to handle it. But for him, Lin Fan, to lower his head, that was even more impossible. From now on, you're my husband. You can call me Xiao Er. Li Jixio said. She was still doing this? If a normal guy saw such a beautiful girl, he probably wouldn't be able to control himself. But who was Lin Fan? He was a true man who was willing to fight for freedom. How could she seduce him with just a few words? Don't do those useless things. Just because my father agrees doesn't mean that I agree. A marriage without feelings is just a transaction. I have a tendency to be violent, especially towards women. My tendency to be violent is even more serious. You have to be careful. Father wasn't here, so Lin Fan didn't care at all. He directly said that it was impossible for her to marry into the Lin Manor and tie him down. Rage points plus 13. Suelon was furious. How could young Master Lin say that? If not for Little Miss not wanting her fate to be controlled by others, she wouldn't have come here. Scoff. She pouted and stared at Lin Fan in rage. She was really angry. How cute. Gozi glanced at Suelon without batting an eyelid. She had a round face and was red. She was his type. However, now that young Master and Little Miss Li weren't on good terms, he couldn't drag young Master down. Violent tendencies? Li Jixio ripped open the banana and opened her mouth. She didn't try to avoid it at all, swallowing it right away. With a flick of her wrist, the banana's skin flew out. Pum! The banana was like a sharp blade, directly slicing in and embedding itself into the fake mountain. Li Jixio brought Suelon out. When she walked to the door, she turned around and said, I am looking forward to it. Within the room, Lin Fan and Go Zi were stunned. Young Master, she is so arrogant. Go Zi said, I noticed that she is indeed arrogant and strong. She swallowed a banana so long in one mouthful. She is a vicious person. Lin Fan's expression was solemn, and he felt like he had met his match. Until now, he didn't understand why this girl came to the Lin family. Looking at the current situation, the Lin family didn't have anything worth others coveting. Let's go find my cousin, Lin Fan said. Zhou Zhongmao was in secluded meditation during this period of time. Peak grade 8 and was about to break through to grade 9. He hadn't crossed this barrier yet. He came to where his cousin lived, and there were guards at the door. When the guard was prepared to tell Lin Fan that the teacher was in secluded meditation, Zhou Zhongmao walked out from within. He didn't see anything wrong. He still wasn't able to break through. He was just lacking a little. Cousin, Lin Fan shouted. Zhou Zhongmao raised his head and saw his cousin. He walked over right away. Cousin, why did you come? Haze. Lin Fan sighed. He felt bitter in his heart and told his cousin about what happened. Cousin, what do you think we should do now? This girl came prepared, so we have to think of a way. Zhou Zhongmao was dumbfounded. He really couldn't do anything about it. He even felt that it was quite good. It wasn't a bad thing. However, his cousin didn't agree, so he had to stand on his side. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.